So entertaining. And we are live. All right, for the finale of Free the Demon Capital. We have our wonderful players as always. Aaron, who is your character?
Edward Brock.
All right. And Chris, who's your character?
Spirit.
All right. And Jessica, who you playing?
I am Cypher, the disillusioned conqueror.
And Josh, who do you have?
Belios. The fallen angel.
Else.
Well, not
All
fallen
right.
anymore.
Yes. So last we left off, we have entered the great city of Venivus. We have found that the Blight is here and it is strong. And not only is it corrupting the city, it's actually deleting the city in little patches lined with black, dark, shadowy substances. Most of the people that you found here, people or demons, if you do see them, they do seem to be on the ground, passed out, asleep. Some of them even missing chunks of them as if the matter itself was erased. You've all eluded the shadowy figures that seem to be a part of this lost fleet of demons that were almost invisible to most of you, but you were able to kind of turn them on one another and rush to the spire. Velios has awakened and realized the trade that he made to get here and ultimately to find Iomedes. We are not to forget that you have Griff, because Griff is not coming to play yet.
Yeah, it's not coming to play yet.
Yes, so we have to
He's
remember
just
to.
been chilling there. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So somewhere in here by the end, it'll be like a dog runs in.
Yeah.
Maybe I meet him at the end. It's like.
All right. So outside the spire, this is a city, as I mentioned before. It's got like tints and hues of blues and purples and pinks. It's a dark city, as if it was cast in, sort of like these like tinted shadows of these colors. So think of everything almost in sort of like a fairy tint of blues and purples and pinks, but dark. You see most no one outside the tower itself, but though the tower has like its own little sort of walls and it's very large. I mean, the spire is great. It reaches up to the sky with this bright beacon of light that just showers through it like a geyser coming from the heavens, like beyond understanding, like somewhere out of this planet. The spire itself otherwise is quiet, and most of what you're walking on is like cobblestone. Ancient stone planted here by crazy demon craftsmen thousands of years. Who knows? Maybe before the time we can imagine, but has been here forever. Outside this tower, that if you looked straight up, you'd bend halfway back and fall on your back and still not see the top. All of you stand, and you can see that parts of the wall itself before you. There's no problem getting inside because some of the walls are even beginning to delete and have big holes for you to walk or climb through. The noise, as we had mentioned before, the words that are just kind of carrying out and booming are quite loud. All of you feel shielded around our friend the angel Velios from the effects that you felt at for a brief moment earlier. So what would you like to do? You stand outside the spire. The spire of the demon prince Desmius.
I kind of want to test the limits.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to like slowly like start like climbing up the wall, like blinking up a little bit until I get outside of the range, and I assume fall down. Edward, can you catch me if I fall?
I can catch a lot of things, but I can't catch a shape.
No.
No, don't worry. I can catch it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll start trying to see how tall his effect is.
Certainly. So how are you doing this? You're just using your blinking ability?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make a roll of blinking. Let's use Imagine.
Okay.
Actually, we could say you could use Reason if it helps you, because you could take all the time you need.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to go methodically. So
the building itself would also have occasional ledges and windows and things. Going up along that parallel surface would give you something to even help you. So
right. And because I'm so zealously withdrawn, I'm gonna try to stick to the shadows a little bit more, and go for a re-roll of my of my reason dice.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay, so critical success.
Oh, wow. Okay. What'd you roll? Doubles?
3.
Ooh, okay. So, obviously, the easiest question is, first of all, what did you hope to accomplish? Because we knew you're going to get that in spades.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see like how wide his effect was,
Certainly.
and if it was spherical, and kind of how it was positioned, so that we could make sure we utilized his bubble to maximize the effectiveness of how we traversed the tower
Okay.
to get up to the top room.
You find as you basically ascend, using your blinking ability, and I can imagine you just kind of like almost a wisp of a spirit, just like sort of like bouncing off the wall and using it to elevate yourself and getting higher and higher and higher, and the spire that reaches above all the other buildings at the center of this demon capital. As you rise higher and higher and higher, you see, as you get more and more of an aerial view, that there is the effect that seems to be locked into the perimeter of the city, which does seem to be sort of this rounded city perimeter of this like scorched earth that sort of floats in the sky. So you do believe, with the information you found before and now this aerial view of looking, that it seems that the effect reaches only the outskirts of the city. Seeing how some of the walls have been deleted more and more, especially from up here, you can see parts of them that are gone. It does question, and in your head make you think that maybe there's some magical effect of the walls that was holding you within, and that as these walls deteriorate, that maybe it's only a matter of time before the effects go further.
Okay.
It does seem unearthly. I mean, this is a powerful magic, something, legendary in stature. I mean, of the demon prince himself, it's like having a demon on the level of like a Lucifer. Maybe not Satan himself, but, one rung under.
Right.
The words of something so powerful carry, and they last forever. So
And then
all these sort of thoughts come to you like an epiphany.
okay. And then how does with Josh's like protective bubble,
Yeah.
does that start to deteriorate the higher I go?
Well, I think it'd be most excellent if we gave Velios an opportunity to respond. So as Esprit goes higher and higher and higher, Velios, you can feel almost as if he was like a part of your body, that it's like he's getting warmer.
Okay.
And it's something alien to you but you understand it now that you're coming to and who you are, and you realize that he will soon be affected. He's leaving like your womb or the protection of your wings or your aura.
It's almost like a protective feeling that I have for him, like when he gets farther away. Like, I get what you mean.
You feel that you could direct, if you wanted to aim that energy at him, you could direct it further, like more of a cone style or a ray. If you wanted to light him, it doesn't happen passively, but if you wanted to forcibly do it, you could.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it may just be easier if I just
let him fall.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
No. Actually, just I don't know if I could do it all the time, but like actually concentrate to concentrate on just them three and not just an area around me, kind of thing.
Certainly.
So like they're always affected as long as they're close, like a certain like within the city wall or something, like depending on how powerful I guess that is.
What strategy would you like to use for that?
I mean, I'm guessing the aura probably would make most sense.
All right. You have to be imagined if you wanted to help Esprit. If you didn't care so much of helping Esprit immediately, it could be a reason.
Right on. Okay, so imagine.
Yeah, because the whole point was to test how strong, how strong the ability is. Velios's ability is.
Velios.
All right. gonna use. I'm gonna say my benevolent tag
Certainly.
because I don't want him to be hurt or be affected by this. To reroll.
Okay. Your need to help him, to not allow him to feel harm or pain, even though he's testing the waters here. Esper, did you tell them what you were doing, or did you just go, "Hey, I'm gonna check this out. Peace."
Like later,
No,
dude.
yeah, no, I let I at least
Bounce the
told Brock so that he could catch me if I
Oh, that's right. That's
if I fell.
Yeah. He said, "Brock, catch me," and then he took off.
right.
Yeah.
Our concerned little frog seems to be testing something.
You just standing under him as he like kind of goes side to side, kind of trying to position under him at all times.
The blight slowly like following his shadow.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any other tags that really make sense on this, but I got
Okay.
one success for sure.
All right. So you then have a choice, sir. Would you like to throw your energy on the three of them, but not reach Esprit now, or would you like to focus it on Esprit and not be able to place it on the others without your general aura? You get one or the other.
I think I'll keep whatever the general aura was that I already had
Mm-hmm.
and kind of test how bad it gets where he goes, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's focusing on him, not so much just putting it on each of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think of it as in almost maybe it's something you see as if it was like a light that shines on him. It's not visible to the rest of them. And you cast this sort of beam of light that showers over the bottom of him as it just kind of like a spotlight from you. And Esprit, you go higher and higher and higher, and you believe you could reach the top of the tower.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. You already had a perfect success, so I'm not going to force you to make more rolls. You continue up and up and up and up till you reach a perch, basically, and open a large opening. This is sort of like a pavilion, maybe. Reaching near the top of the tower, it has more of like a bulbous sort of like balcony around and large openings. You know, a lot like a lot of the cool towers we might see in like Lord of the Rings or something. More of an opened area near the top for them to do things and have that ultimately high, amazing view. Seeing this basically as you reach up there and you see a lot of the city below you, you know, your friends are mere specks. They're sand right now as you are so high. Most of the noises you've heard within the tower ascending have been now like the air traveling through it and the strange noises that kind of have this fizzle and pop sounds of the deleting effect. You might occasionally have heard snoring, you know, because most life seems to be sleeping. And now that you reach the top, that sort of ancient voice is really, really loud. And you can tell that you're very, very close. And that geyser of energy that crashes through the spire is very loud itself, as if it was like a waterfall. So you find yourself in an open area where you could walk right in. You don't see anyone on top, you know, and with this sort of little pavilion area, but there was obviously a way that if you go through, you could go down and ascend, you know, descend into the tower from the top.
Okay. I want to be as sneaky as all my espionage self is. I don't want to expose myself in any way. I want to make sure I'm covered in my cloak, but I kind of want to see if I can reconnoiter the room, as it were.
Okay. So as you're doing that, Brock, you see him go higher and higher and higher. So you can't
lose him to the darkness.
You can't see him anymore. Yeah. It's kind of a marvel to look towards the top of the tower and make anything out other than it just gets bigger and bigger. And the light is so blinding when you look straight up at it. It's like looking at the sun for too long. But yeah, you've lost him somewhere up there as he just becomes an ant in the sky. Cypher, what are you doing?
wondering where my minion just went.
Yeah. Now you do have communications with him. You can talk to him if you want to. Otherwise, you saw him like everyone else. He just kept going and going, no one. And now it's probably been like 3 or 4 minutes, and he's just still gone.
Hey, I'll probably give him a moment because I'm used to him. Like normally when he runs off, it is to do sneaky things. So he'll probably not have a loud voice come over his comms yet. So if he keeps waiting too long, I probably will.
I grow impatient, minion.
I guess I'll turn to the others and ask if we should, start up the staircase. I mean, at some point we need to get
Whatever.
up there.
More like
I'm giving him 1 minute, and then I'm flying up there.
Start the staircase.
Oh, we're flying?
You can fly with me if you want. You gotta hold on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Your
Velios.
minions can fly.
If
I
you
can fly.
hadn't noticed at this point, Velio stretches his wings, and they not only seem to be healed, but they also seem to be, not voluptuous, but when feathers are fluffed, like each one of the feathers along his like majestic wings are like fluffed. It looks like he's like pillows that come out, like
That looks comfortable.
yeah, glorious heavenly wings.
Go take a nap on him.
If we were being more humorous, I would absolutely love it if it was like from oh gosh, I think it's either one of the scary movies. No, it's Epic movie. They make fun of X-Men, and he turns around and it's Angel, and he has little chicken wings on the back of his back. I would absolutely love the imagery of that.
My little chicken wings.
Okay.
Big, beautiful wings.
Esprit, you are doing some investigation up top. What are you trying to find out?
I want to kind of see the layout, so I don't want us to be surprised
Certainly.
when we get up here. That's my whole goal.
The most fascinating thing that's going on up here is the beam of light. Otherwise, this seems to be an area that, like I mentioned, where people probably could congregate. You don't imagine there's not like stuff lying around, so you think this is probably more of a more private area that maybe the demon prince would take advantage of, maybe with a counselor or something, not really like people. But the light itself pours through the center of this area, and you feel like it probably crashes. There's some kind of focal point of where it hits and stops nearby. You would think that maybe it's only a level or two down because of how loud it gets when you walk towards the center. The energy itself is this sort of bright, illuminate, like almost off-white, that seems like when you get close to it, it's like wind. It's a very, very strong wind, like walking towards a tornado. All your hair and your clothing will just fly backwards. And as you get closer and closer, it has more and more resistance.
Okay. And are there any people? Because I know earlier I had heard the actual demon prince himself muttering in his sleep or something.
Well, it's very fitting that you'd hear more of that, right? Mm-hmm. So you being so close to it, we could say you can even make it out better. And the words come out as finally rest. We just all need to rest. They will come one day, or they will never come. And until then, we can rest. And it continues in other mummerings, but that's kind of the words that ring to you, or these words of him seeming like he's just longing for something to return, but almost like given up on that happening. Like there's a sort of conviction of they'll come or they won't come. You can tell that all of this, the focal point of this light, that the booming nature of the voice, you are very, very close. If you are a floor or two above it, is probably, you're probably within 50 feet of wherever this is coming from.
Okay.
Though I should give you the information that there is a strength to all this, that it's unearthly, and it would make, mere mortals kind of tremble with power. Like you just, it'd be like experiencing something like maybe like a tornado. It's like a force of nature. The voice itself is just so powerful. The airflow of this magical geyser is just crazy. You just feel out of your depth.
Okay.
You're like, I have a knife, and I'm very, very good at blinking necessity, but I'm like, how do you kill a god and where do you strike a geyser of pure light? Like it's kind of lost at the moment with that.
So I'd like to roll espionage.
Sure.
To see if I can kind of figure out if we're in kind of like a Final Fantasy X moment here, where like this whole world is just the sustained by the will of the Demon Prince.
Certainly.
If that makes sense.
Sure. You are more than welcome to roll, but you will have to get closer to whatever the problems are.
Okay.
I mean, unless you roll a critical success, then I guess you don't. But,
On that note, well, with how powerful this being is, and how everything looks, I want to go back down.
Sure.
And I want to see, though, on my way down, I'd like to see if I can get like an easy path to where the four of us could make it up the side of the wall relatively quickly without having to traverse the inside of the tower.
Yeah, with how successful you were, you have a pretty good idea of it. Yes, you can carry that knowledge down. The problem is, I mean, it is over a very large span of space because you were way up there.
Oh, yeah.
But you do now have, I mean, you have Velios' ability to fly, and you wouldn't be surprised with the things you've seen Brock do if he couldn't find ways to use the Blight to climb.
Right.
I mean, obviously, someone would have to take Cypher up, but given three of you could manage somehow, that
like a round robin kind of thing. Like I can carry her up to here if you can carry her a little bit further, and then
they just start volleying her around. Yeah.
You know, sure like one of the proper minions we are.
Yeah, one of you would get fired. Okay, so you return.
Yep.
Brock, you see him come back into the distance as he begins blinking. I guess you're probably blinking kind of fast, but
on the way down it'd be a lot faster because I'd be more comfortable and more secure.
His blinks.
So, and then
Brock, you see Esprit returning.
Should I catch you or?
So at any point did I feel like I wasn't?
No, you felt quite okay the whole time. Okay. You were trying to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
You don't know what they did on the ground, but yeah, you don't feel like you had any problems.
No, Edward, I'm okay. I'll give me 1 second. Okay, and then when I get back down, I'll turn obviously and talk to Cypher.
Sure. Cypher, it's probably been like 10 minutes.
So what's up
there? The beacon is strong at the top, and I heard the dreams of the Demon Prince. He's waiting for something, and it feels like he's given up on the wait and is resting until it gets here.
And just to confirm, the beacon that he's referring to is the beacon that sucked me here, or?
Yes. Yeah, it's the shining light that just comes from the heavens and pours through this spire.
I'm glad the beacon is still strong. It sounds like it'll be easy for me to get home. The Demon Prince can wait. I've arrived, so waiting is over.
Yes. The first time I came to take a look around, I was buffeted by the song. But this time I felt no need to sleep.
Good. We've got too much to do for sleeping.
Yeah, Velios is like, Velios knows that he had something to do with that.
Snickers.
Yeah. So we should be safe up. Mistress, we should go up the side.
Cypher, are you afraid of heights?
Not at all. I have
Okay.
wonderful minions.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good.
In fact, Velios, you said that you could fly me up there.
I'm relatively sure I can handle that.
I climb onto his back like a little kid on a piggyback ride.
Go. Hold your arms straight up, and you're like, "Fly me."
No, I am sufficient. I climb up on his back, so I've got like one arm, like over his shoulder, legs around his waist, and I point toward the window and I say, "Onward!"
Onward, my angelic steed.
And that, I'm gonna make my phone call, so Chris wants
Okay.
to take this.
Edward, I'll help you with where to place your stuff.
He's gonna say Blight with some really like bad connotations.
Yeah.
So the three of you want to ascend the top of the tower, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Brock, I need a roll from you because you're the one who he has to figure out how he's going to climb. And tell me what you think of.
Oh well.
What do you do with that Blight to help you climb up?
It's definitely going to be reason blighted control. Start off for sure. Right. 4, 10, 1. All right, we have a double success on a 4 and a 1. So I'm gonna say with some expert tactical pointing and I guess an idea of keeping clear of any blighted areas. We will traverse the wall as Velios flies our glorious leader to the top.
Madame Moon Laser, please climb up.
Okay. All right. So, as basically the three of you begin to ascend, right? So, Esprit, how do you climb up? You just blinking? Is there any of your rifle being used?
No. I'm just gonna blink up, and I'm gonna go slow enough so that I can help Brock on his way up. So.
Yeah, and Brock is kind of climbing. And Velios, you are flying, which probably feels amazing. It's the first time you spread your wings and flown. It's truly as yourself as well. So while you do have someone who's hanging in your back, being benevolent, I imagine you actually kind of enjoy that you can be that useful. So as the three of you begin to ascend, I assume that Velios probably takes flight and goes a little bit higher and faster than the other two, as Esprit's kind of waiting a little behind to make sure Brock's fine, and Brock's going to be the slowest just because he's got to actually manipulate and move stuff. As you get 50 feet up, 100 feet up, 200 feet up, and the other buildings of the town itself that near the spire begin to get smaller and smaller. Even the 3-story ones are, you're now 2, 3, 4 times as high up as those buildings are tall. And you can make out that there are some kinds of creatures that seem to be scaling the wall down from the top, that seem to be coming your direction. They seem like shadowy figures, very reminiscent of the pestilent horde, and they seem to be coming your way. Now, Velios, obviously, you're the one who's the most high. You see them first. You also have the benefit of being able to fly away from the tower if need be, so that you could, evade them if you needed. They seem to be as if they're walking on the wall. They don't seem to be flying. They look like shadowy creatures that walk on all fours, but they seem more like elongated shadow elementals. Not quite dogs or hounds, just more like 4-legged, moving shadowy forms that seem to be maniacally moving towards which you think is going towards Esprit, but it's just as easily towards Brock as well.
That are coming down from the top of
Yeah, from what you can tell, that's the direction they're coming from. They seem to be moving quite fast as soon as they recognize or see the group of you. What would you like to do, sir? I will tell you this. These creatures, which you can see for the time being, are part of a challenge that has a 6 mind, a 6 body, and an 8 spirit. And the advantages the challenge holds our view are that obviously the blight has a deleting effect that's going on around you. The blight itself, given that these creatures seem to be of the blight, and the heights obviously is a bit of a problem. Yeah, don't clip your wings now. So especially with Cypher. Cypher would be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, whoops, fallen.
So, Velios, you see them first. If you think of anything you want to do, tell me. Otherwise, soon after, Esprit, why don't you make an Imagine Espionage?
Yeah.
You were up there. You didn't see much to worry of, and you're paying more attention to Brock. I'm just curious if you would notice them. I'm sure you probably would, but
Yeah.
we have enough reasons to question it. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I am devoted to espionage, and
Are you now?
I am. Yeah, I'm devoted to espionage. I'm also one face in many.
yes.
So I'm gonna reroll twice.
If you
I'm
had
gonna do
more
one
than
at a time.
one face, you would see them. Yes,
Yeah.
because they have one face to look in every direction. Oh, that'd be a cool character.
Okay, so let's see. At 8, can I reroll 3 times?
You can right now. At 8 you can. Yeah.
Okay. So I have 1 success so far, but with my with how withdrawn I am, I would always be kind of on point and always kind of nervous that people are sneaking up on me, and that's going to get me my 3rd reroll.
Okay.
Okay, 2 successes.
Okay. So, basically, all that means is that as you're climbing up and you're closely watching Brock, you catch wind of Velios probably like stalling and maybe swooping, and you can't make out the figures by eye, but just because you see the strangeness of what's going on, it makes you focus your attention up there. And as you do, you then do make out that there are these creatures that seem to be scaling the wall downward. They're heading in the direction of obviously the 2 of you. Though they are paying attention to Velios as well. These, like I said, they're 4-legged for the most part, but they're mostly almost like a fire elementals, and they have like sort of a shard-like essence of like shadowiness that's just kind of jagged lifting off them, almost like a weird sort of a hound, but with no noticeable head like that.
Okay, Eddie, brace yourself. I'm going to use you as a brace, and then I'm gonna blink onto his back and kind of like try to like hook my legs.
Yeah.
To where I have like some sort of
A better way we might.
amalgamation of yeah, but I don't like your blight. It's creepy. And try to get like a firing like position open.
Okay.
So
Velios, is there anything you wanted to do?
I think I'm just gonna have to try to. Well, I'm gonna tell Cypher to hold on, and I think I'm gonna attempt to coalesce some sort of battle gear again, like some sort of sword.
Sure.
Just something to fight with.
Okay.
And of course, Battleborn.
Battleborn.
Nice. Oh no, wait, that's mine. Never mind.
Yeah, nice roll, Chris.
I was like, man, that looks really good for one of Josh's rolls.
Oh, that's messed up.
Still actually pretty good for one of Josh's
Yeah,
rolls.
that's not bad for a roll of mine, right? Oh,
it is
sorry.
good.
Was that be reason or imagine? I mean, it
It'd
doesn't
be
really matter, but
it'd be imagine just because it was last second.
okay. I'm gonna use my close relationship to Edward because I see them going towards them.
Yeah.
As my focus to reroll one of them. Because
One of them.
I need to pass this. Why does it gotta be the same?
What are the odds, Josh? What are the
What
odds?
are the odds, man? What are the odds, man?
1 in 10.
Man, but,
And final result is
yeah, I had one success.
okay. So you had one success. You were trying to create your battle gear out of thin air and use it effectively against the blighted
Get a damn
creatures.
short sword and a buckler again.
That's funny. I forgot about that. Yeah.
every time. Every time. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not jumping at anything. The delete effect, I don't really want to make your equipment be deleted as soon as it comes up. The blight themselves are a problem. I guess I should say we'll use the blight against you. As you try to create the weapons, they start lunging at you. Okay. But they don't lunge at you as if jump off the walls. They seem to stretch off the walls.
Right.
Not losing their 4 legs, and that throws you off because you thought that they wouldn't risk it. Your strong failures. Yeah, so reroll your success and see if it holds.
Okay. What is this? All 7s. I just roll 7s. That's all I roll now. Mono 7.
Lucky 7.
Yeah, right. Unlucky 7 now.
Well, so because I'm curious and not at all because I dislike Velios or Cypher. Earlier he was re-rolling his failure.
Yeah.
And he rolled a 7.
Yeah.
So now you had him re-roll his success, and he rolled it into a 7.
So yeah, it'd be is that a double fail or is that a 1 success?
Well, 1 success was yeah.
Because if he was having to re-roll his success, that's what my question is.
It would be a double 7 then.
Yeah, at any time it becomes a critical, it stops and it assumes that critical, and that's what it becomes. Yeah.
So I re-rolled my failure, and it was a 7, and then you made me roll my success as a 7. So yeah, it'd be double 7s.
Okay, and that is 1 success and 1 failure, or is it two failures?
7s. Well, it was Battleborn, right?
Yeah, which is success.
That's still a success. That's still
so 1 and 1. Okay, so
this is my favorite type anyway.
Yes. All right. So what we have here is we have a critical both. So Aaron, what is the worst thing that can happen right now? He's trying to create the gear he needs to fight the blighted creatures as they sort of lunge their essences at him in a way that he couldn't have imagined. What's the worst thing that can happen? And he has Cypher. And he's only a few hundred feet up in the air.
In the midst of the confusion of creating armor, he didn't think about our glorious leader, and it basically removes her from him.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Chris, what do you think? What's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that as he goes to like dodge, as he goes to like dodge off. Yeah. She wasn't Cypher wasn't quite in there good enough, and he wasn't paying enough attention, and she is back just in time to fall.
Oh no!
Okay, and then Josh, what do you think's the worst thing that could happen?
Oh no! Oh no!
I mean, I'm like 90%
thing
sure
that could
that it's
happen
already
is
been
he
stated.
gets
But
The worst thing that could happen is that you realize it's probably 99% sure it's going to happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. And then what's the best thing that can happen? Aaron. And it obviously can't be the same as the worst thing.
Oh yeah, no.
I get an immaculate greatsword.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen.
Son of a.
The best thing that could happen would most likely be as they stretch out to reach to him, they forget that he's a fully equipped Battleborn angel, and he can just rip them straight from the wall.
That's cool. That's cool. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking that he gets his full angelic complement of gear, and in so doing, knocks some of them off the wall.
Okay. And Josh, what do you think?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna feel really bad about dropping her. Anyway, the I mean,
Hey, you didn't drop her. She just got knocked off a little bit.
yeah.
It's fine.
It wasn't technically my fault.
There's still hundreds of feet to catch her.
She was holding on, and then the armor just popped in the way, and then the spear came out and shoved her backwards. Speaking of that, what weapon would you like? What weapon complement would you like? Because you obviously get that in spades. So. Would you like some kind of amazing glaive, or do you want like a amazing like heavenly sword? Or
glaive kind of sounds cool, like a longer reach kind of thing.
Yeah, and it also super excellent to like shove her backwards.
Just like accidentally poke her off my back.
As soon as what exactly happens is what decided. I need like a slight rewind.
Yes. So basically,
Terrible, but amazing.
He ended up rolling a critical both. So we got a critical success, but also a critical failure. So there was they started going up the tower, and there's some sort of like these sort of like shadowy beasts that cling to the tower, and they seem to be coming down to meet you. And Velios was flying with you, so he kind of swooped out of the way and used his angelic powers to like equip himself with angelic gear to fight the hounds. I'm calling them hounds for no reason. And as he did, obviously, he got all the weapons he needed, but they just happened to knock you off of him. So,
oops. I told you to hold on, jeez.
Yes. So what this does do is you have these amazing weapons. Right. So what does Velios do to these beasts? There's 4 of them, and you're going to do 4 points of damage because it does the effect of both. Okay. You're going to take 4 damage, and you're going to deal 4 damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Really glad I didn't critical anything on that one.
I mean, I'm going to try to, since they're like stretching out at me, I'm just going to like chop them at their base, like closer to the tower almost. Like,
awesome.
To see, I guess, to try to separate them. I mean, it's going to be body, obviously.
Now you get to effect tags. Do you want to add one, or do you want to try to remove the delete, the blight, or the heights?
Trying to see if any of those actually make sense.
If he deletes the height, then I don't fall, right?
Magically, we're on the ground again. I would. The heights sounds kind of cool because chopping them off of the base would just basically mean they would have to fall unless there's some kind of way they don't. But
sure, is that what you want to do?
I'll take it.
Okay, so we're knocking out the heights as being the problem. All right. So now that's what you're gonna do. Now what happens to you is, I assume that was 4 points to the body, so you're gonna take 4 points to the body, and you get a negative tag. You were just asking for one of his. You're like, hey, I don't have any of those. So I think that you need. I want something a little better than let her fall.
Ooh, that's dirty.
Right?
Oh, God.
He needs something that's like.
Feels so bad right now.
Zealous determination.
Well, he needs something. He needs something bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that could be.
Well, you know, if you focus in like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Cypher's scorn.
That sounds even worse. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. So we'll say, yeah, let's say Cypher's scorn for lack of something better right now. Because yeah, there probably is something that I mean, like if you drop someone like that,
I totally agree.
Right? They're gonna be like, oh, we're still friends if they, if things go well, but they're never letting you fly them again. Like that's done.
I don't blame her.
Okay.
So does that goes on the other side of one of the other tags, right?
Yeah, so your tag should be on the left column. To the right, you're going to put one, and that's going to block one, basically.
Right.
Okay.
So do you choose the one it blocks?
No, you choose.
Okay.
Okay. And let me mark that 4 points. The body is taking a lot of damage. These beasts have been slaughtered quickly. Obviously, we have a new problem, which is that we have a Cypher following.
New challenge.
Yes. So the first thing we need to do is, since she wasn't here, Cypher, what do you do?
Well, after shooting a very dirty look, I'll probably come up to Esprit as he's the one that I'm closest to.
Okay.
He's my most trusted minion. Plus, he can see through, space.
So what do you say to him?
Esprit, Esprit, to me.
Now, do you fall like this, or is there like flipping going on, or is there just like are you like posing as you fall?
No, I think I want like this, like I'm just like posing, like I'm falling.
Yeah, like hands on hips, hands on hips, feet spread across.
She got the
shoulder width.
Mary Poppins.
The other one's pointing at you, like Esprit. Get down here. I need you. Like now.
I do love whoever said awkward flipping, because I imagine like Homer Simpson flipping. It was just whoa, 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 whoa. All right, so you call to him. What strategy would help you get his attention? This is when you share that strategy, like order minions.
That's what I'm missing. I'm a convincing liar. I don't know if I'm really lying, but I am convincing.
Totally not following right now.
Yeah. I roll imagine and convincing liar. It's fun though, because you also said like you're lying that this isn't so bad. You're like, Esprit, come to me. I am okay. I just need your help right now.
Hurry, but for no particular reason, because I'm totally fine, probably.
Yeah,
hurry.
Probably, maybe.
Because I have this relationship with Esprit, because he is my minion, my best minion. I'm going to reroll my go.
Sure, yeah, that he would notice. He is the greatest minion.
Now I've set one fail, one success.
Okay. Do you have any more tags you'd like to try?
I am an obsequious sycophant.
True, because I can use his tag, correct?
You sure can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give that a try. Because I'm rolling 9s on this die.
Don't pull a Josh.
There we go. That is double success.
All right. So this is spirit, because you are trying to convince someone to help you in the face of the adversity. So you did 2, so that's down to 6. Yeah, because the heights would have been the thing I would have held against you, and he robbed me of that, so I can't. Yeah. So, like you said, you were not affected. I can't be like, yeah, you're falling. So you could be posing all you want, but you're panicking. No, that doesn't happen.
I am falling, but
with style.
Get over here.
I'm totally okay, probably.
Okay, so Esprit.
I feel like tapping my toe on the air.
Yeah.
She gets your attention. You see that basically as you were looking at Brock and looking up at the shadows, you see her just start falling past you as she calls to you. What would you like to do? And Cypher, did you want to get rid of the blight or the deleting effect? Or did you want to add something that might help other people help you? You got 2 successes. You can affect the tags is what's going on.
Oh, I thought that was only on crits.
Nope. Anytime we favorably go in one direction or the other, tags get changed.
What was the tag that it has left?
It has delete and blight. The delete is obviously that deleting effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just some of them walls are disappearing.
And you can also add tags to the challenge.
Yeah, and that might be a
we
good
can use.
idea in your case because you could add something like, you know, I'm thinking of all kinds of stuff. I was trying to think of something better, but like soft landing, you know, like like a lot of like landings, perches, things to catch me on, you know.
Lots of alcoves.
Yeah. Wires, you know, like ledges.
This sweet balcony just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll do we'll do soft landing.
Okay.
This is somewhere that they feel for
Soft landing. Yeah, because there could be, like you were saying, there could be a lot of things. You could, your shoes could even have small thrusters that are slowing your fall or something. Okay.
And out of nowhere, she actually has another thing.
Whatever.
Shoes.
She's got a tractor beam. It's like,
You think Madam Moonbeam doesn't have thruster shoes?
right?
I've never needed to use my thruster shoes. I haven't
Okay.
used them yet.
For sure.
Aspirate, what are you doing?
I'm gonna say fearless leader.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
So I'm gonna blink out at her,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna try to blink her back towards the tower in some
Okay.
way.
You, like we said, there are lots of ledges and sort of balconies
Yeah.
and stuff. As long as they don't delete when you put her there, you're good.
Right.
Can't
Right.
happen though. But, just
I have
say.
heals.
It's not me rolling. You'll be all right.
All right.
Why
You
do you
got
say
blink-
stuff like that? Why you say stuff like that?
How many times can we critical fail and make her fall? Yeah.
She's just tumbling down the side of the tower, one person at a time.
Well, like watch my like with this luck. Now I'm gonna succeed fail critically.
I'm like,
And-
I'm almost certain I'm gonna have to use the tide today sometime with my rolls.
So what did we?
It's blinking and it's probably imagine.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't think it actually matters. Oh, it does matter, just barely.
Your Imagine 5.
My imagine is 5. That's accurate.
Oh.
But I mean, I am an obsequious sycophant. Like, I've been nothing but obsequious to her the whole time. I don't see any reason to let something
Nothing
like
but
her
obsequious.
falling at a ridiculous speed down a ridiculous tower because of a ridiculous thing stop me.
Because of a ridiculously clumsy angel.
Yeah. And but
Fallen angel.
Not me that's falling anymore.
Yeah.
that's not mine.
The fallen is not falling now.
Yeah.
I'm also her minion.
Yes.
So I'm gonna use that a little bit to
A little bit. I'm gonna use that a little bit.
Just be a minion a little bit.
So damn loyal right now.
hey. Running out of tags here.
All right.
Did you get any successes so far?
I've gotten one success so far.
All right. Well, then I'll just step in now. So
Uh-huh.
technically, it's as soon as you get one success. I just wasn't sure that you had one yet.
Oh,
So
sorry. Yeah.
that's okay. As you basically try to reach her, the creatures that have fallen, some of them got basically sliced and dropped, and they're coming towards you and they're trying to grab you in the air.
Oh,
As you're
no.
blinking, there's like showering shadow creatures that are like reaching for you.
I just made this situation really great, you know?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really good job here.
It's very action movie right now.
Yeah,
We can
right.
just get like a standard action movie ending and
It's like
the splat that
Well,
might be coming.
I see a scene of like it's all slow motion, like they're falling
Okay.
by trying to grab you, and you're like blinking out trying to grab Cypher. I'm staring
tags
at him. Oh god, what did I do?
So reroll your success, and
That
then
success is still a success.
okay, good.
Cypher, do you have any other tags that I may be able to use? Because the rest of mine deal with espionage.
I do have a minion shield, so if you want to use my
That's
shield
work
for
out.
Man, that does not sound like me.
That's totally you.
So can I use soft landing?
Yeah, of course you can. That's awesome. Though. I really wish he'd use it and he like crit fails, and it's like self-sacrifice.
No, right?
Oh my god.
Okay,
It writes
successes.
itself. Yeah.
So I got a success with the soft landing tag.
Okay. So and that makes 2. All right. So that's It's
Sounds
not
like me.
spirit. Is it mind? Is it body? For some reason, I think it's mind because you're going to basically put her in her safe spot. So
Right. That's what I was.
okay, so you did 2 points to the mind. Are you getting rid of the blight or the delete, or you want to add another tag?
I'm gonna add a tag,
Sure.
and that tag is gonna be multiple fronts.
Nice.
So we're coming at it from the wall, we're coming at it from the ground, we're coming at it from the air.
Yeah.
So we've got you surrounded.
Got you surrounded. Okay. And then Mr. Brock. All of this action is going around you. Just like I'm just trying to climb. What are you up
Trying to get
to?
up this wall.
Yeah, what are you up to? What are you going to do?
Well, my initial plan was going to be helping to grab both Esprit and our glorious leader.
Yeah. You
But-
still can if you wanted to like make sure they're more secure.
But as it seems, from what I've seen, at least they seem to have a good spot. I may turn.
You said that, and I imagine they're like holding each other on this thin, small platform.
They're fine.
They're safe. It's fine.
Until Cypher's like, get off of me.
Yeah. Right.
All just
This is
whatever.
my spot.
Nothing faces me.
He's got you by the coat. You're just like standing there. You're just like, this is very inconvenient.
See, I imagine at least a little bit of. At least I have one minion worth something.
Thank you, Esprit.
But I think I'm going to turn my attention towards my angelic friend, who seems to be struggling with these shadow creatures.
Okay. Yeah, so as you keep climbing, you see all those creatures and friends descend past you as they have their sort of conflict in the air, and you go, okay, good luck. As you just keep climbing up. Reaching Velios, who is still fighting off. You know, while he got a few of them at the base, there was more that were coming. He saw 4 originally, so he's kind of like warring like a warbird. He's like flying and slashing and then swooping by.
Yeah, I got jacked up.
As you're kind of climbing up. It's probably fitting, right? Since you took 4 damage, you see
Yeah.
basically one of them grab him out of the air, like as if like he had blight control, like you, like almost like
Slam him against the side of the pillar or something.
even better, right? Slams him through the wall, right?
Right.
So he disappears, and then like almost like as if it was like a circular thing, he comes out the wall on the other side.
Oh yeah, okay.
Not of the tower, but you know, like he comes in like a one spot, and then like 10 feet over to the left, he comes out, you know?
Yeah.
As these blight shadow forms can obviously manipulate their entire figures.
What would be?
I like to think it was like a Venus flytrap that kind of grabbed you out of the air. Like part of the shadow figure just grabbed you like this and slammed you through the wall.
Yeah, that hurt.
Do they? As from what I can tell, do they seem to be adhered to like certain spots of the wall, or do they seem to just kind of freely go about?
They seem to be walking freely on the wall. You have obviously like an innate understanding of it, and you do believe that there is like a sort of blight contact on the wall. Like, they probably couldn't walk on anything deleted. There's limits, but yeah, they do seem to be kind of connected to the wall.
Yeah, because I was thinking at first maybe like tearing parts of the wall apart and kind of like chucking them up, but then I could hit Vilios. Like it doesn't feel like a really good idea.
You do know also your powers in the past have sort of attracted the deletion effect as well, if that helps you.
Yeah. I wonder. Okay. So we're gonna go with Transfusion Imagine, and I'm going to try and channel enough deletion to kind of like Ring of Fire them essentially, where it eats everything around them and hoards them into a small pit.
Oh, cool! Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
They have nowhere to go.
They have no contact with the surface and they delete themselves. Okay, give me a roll.
Let's see. All right. So 8, 7. We have 1 success and 1 fail.
Okay, so at that point, I'm going to say that as you try to make the circle, they divert their attentions towards you, and they will start popping out of the walls and begin trying to attack you at the same parts that you're touching the walls. So go and reroll your success.
Okay.
As these maws of darkness come out of the walls and try to bite the limbs that are touching and keeping you connected and climbing.
Those blighted bastards.
Okay. You do have more tags, though. You can continue to use your tags now.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have tags. I'm going to say that I am stubborn, and though they have come to my front, I almost am willing enough to even do some bits to myself here to make sure that my friends are safe. So I am extremely stubborn. And we get this success. No double. Or sorry, no critical, but
sure.
Double success.
Double success. All right. So what happens? You were trying to delete them. Honestly, that's kind of an outsmart thing. I think that would target the mind.
Yeah.
So you do 2 damage to that. Do you want to get rid of the blight or get rid of the deletion effect? Or, of course, you could add another tag if you like.
I feel removing the blight tag would be best because I know so many of the people in the party would be so much more at ease.
Yeah, right.
Would almost be getting inspired to really finish the fight. There's no blighted.
Okay, so at the base of the tower, you can now all see, or you will eventually see, that some of those sort of shadowy boat figures and their ships have begun to sort of amass around the base of the tower. Obviously, they finally settled their differences and had pursued the group of you that had eluded them. They don't seem to notice you up ascending the side of the tower, but you do see sort of like the floating ships, 40, 50 feet off the air, slowly approaching the base of the tower, and quite a large, massive, like a mob forming and starting to enter the base of the tower, hundreds of feet below the rest of you. Cypher, you didn't really get much of a turn to do something other than save your hide. So is there something you'd like to do?
I saved my hide. Well, probably not quite yet, as I am probably not in a very advantageous position, as I was just saved, and I don't have much method of traversing
Sure.
this tower. So
Okay.
I'll probably hold off for a moment.
Who would you want to help you traverse the tower?
Aspert, he's obviously the only one I can trust here.
All right. Do you want to roll to convince him to carry you up the tower?
I feel so scorned right now.
Sure.
Because I think he's probably, like, hey, I'm the worst choice, really, seriously. But you're like, no, you're the best choice.
He's definitely the best choice.
Only one that I can trust.
Yes.
Wah, wah.
And that is a success and a fail.
Okay. I only have the deletion effect, which, that's pretty fun. So basically, as you were trying to convince him, it actually probably helps you. So I won't hold it against you. I was going to say some of the area begins to delete, but I think that would help convince him. So
Yeah,
some of the area begins to delete, but it doesn't hurt you. So keep rolling if you want to. Your successes.
I'm going to use my tag with him, the fact that he's my minion.
Yeah.
We're close. He's been a good minion to me.
Inconvenient that he's seeing that, like, the area around you is beginning to delete.
Yeah.
So just open it. Okay.
Now, could she use that tag as a positive to reroll a failed die?
She could, but I think she just got a critical success.
Okay.
What did you roll?
Threes.
Threes.
Nice.
Double threes. All right. So, Madam Moonlaser, what is the best thing that could happen right now?
I will not fall again.
Okay. And why?
However, I end up not falling.
Okay.
At this point, I just feel super safe and secure that Asprit will guarantee my safety.
Sure.
As we continue upward on this tower, this spire.
The journey.
So for some reason, you made me think of, like, the old Batman movie. Like, you grab him around the waist and he shoots his foot.
How much do you weigh?
I don't
Right?
know.
110. Uh-huh.
Right.
Good one. Yeah.
right.
Okay. So, the two of you begin ascending. If you were convincing, 4 points, brings us down to 2s across the board. Do you want to get rid of a tag, or would you like to add something? We still have the deletion effect, but we did kind of just twist that into a good thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want to get rid of that since now it's working for us.
Then you can pass, or honestly, you could just throw something else on there if you wanted to. But
I'll throw on the tag minor distraction.
Okay.
At this point, I'm not even worried about them. I just took a huge tumble through the air, was saved, and now we're all good.
All right, Velios. Last but not least, sir, how would you like to handle either the last of the beasts or helping the rest of them get to the top? Everyone seems to be ascending again. It doesn't seem to be many threats left, though, as you've seen, these sort of shadow beasts can kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, they have to come out of the tower. They're not going to come out of thin air, but
Well,
you do have to be wary.
the Blight is in pretty much everything around here. They could come out of thin air.
Yeah, especially with Brock around. He's like portaling them. Brock! It's like coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, because I was definitely going to shoot some of them
With your new hydrogen rounds.
on the way up. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Did we tell you about that, Pete? We figured out how this this semi-aquatic race had event horizons that he was shooting out of a rifle.
Awesome.
Okay,
Well, shoot, let's use one. Velios, did you have something you wanted to do, or?
I mean, I was probably just gonna try to beat the hell out of him again.
Sure. Well, Velios, we will give you that opportunity, but we will also give Esper that opportunity. Why don't you both roll to make your attacks?
Yeah.
That's Battleborn reason, I'm guessing.
Yes.
No, would that be assassination, imagine, or reason?
It'd be imagine.
Okay.
How do you assassinate shadow creatures?
I
I shoot them in the face.
with shadows. It's great.
Oh yeah, that's right. I load my
Oh.
hydrogen rounds.
Yeah. Well, we're coming at them. We've got them surrounded.
Multiple fronts.
Yeah, we got them surrounded. So I'm gonna reroll one. I haven't gotten any successes yet.
Okay.
Is that under my assassination? It is not. No. Okay. Oh no.
I was about to ask, is that what I think it is?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh god.
It's a critical failure.
Oh boy.
So Velios, how did you do? Let's resolve yours.
Okay, I got one success right now.
All right.
I'm gonna use my strong tag because I'm
Yeah.
the hell out of them.
Strong
You're
side.
strong, Velios.
I want this to be done already. I don't want to fail anymore.
That doesn't sound like someone who's strong. I just want to be done. I don't want to fail anymore.
Critical success.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay. So, why don't you tell me the coolest thing that you could do to finish off these beasts?
Huh.
Or to help your friends get away from them and get inside, or above them to the top.
Yeah, like because they're kind of like in the way of us getting up there anyway, right?
Kind of. I mean, you basically you're fighting your way through them. You're making progress, but yeah, they're definitely a pain and they're dangerous. I mean, they're hurting you. They've hurt you a lot.
Yeah.
What is your body anyway total?
5. I'm at
5. Oh wow, yeah. So
yeah,
you're actually in pretty dire straits. Yeah.
Yeah. Glad I put it at 5 in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just with a fail swoop in there, like closest to them as possible, like clear a huge path around them.
No, that's great.
Well,
For just
all herded into one spot, aren't they? From what you did.
They should, or well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just dive on that spot.
Awesome. So you just smash into the area where they're all kind of being congregated to and drawn to, and then sort of a hole is opening around them as you just kind of crash through it like going through a fiery hula hoop.
Strike from above.
Yeah.
It's come down on them like a lamp, like the Lancers from with the glaive.
Yes. Meanwhile, right?
Back at the ranch.
Back to what Josh typically does.
Esprit, so you are blinking up, and as you are, obviously you're bringing Cypher with you, and you're but I have these awesome hydrogen rounds that I have to use.
Right.
And you are shooting them at these creatures. So I guess first, Aaron, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Well, the absolute worst that could hapen is that one gets jammed in the gun.
Oh, jeez.
A localized event horizon is usually not really good for machinery, let alone the person using them.
No.
And Cypher, what's the worst thing that could happen? You finally get a say in this.
I'm pretty sure the worst thing that could happen for Cypher right now is that he could drop me.
Yeah, but Cypher didn't fail.
Cypher did that. I feel like that would be the worst. For you, because remember, you need me to be on your good side. Otherwise, I'm blowing up this whole planet.
Yeah, right now.
That is also true.
Her meter of destruction is pretty much leaning right. Yeah. So there's 3 people who can convince me, and only one of them is not on my shit list.
Yeah.
And he is of the Blight.
Yes. Yeah, he's of the Blight.
Not on my shit list is already destroying this planet.
Josh, any thoughts on and the worst thing that could happen here?
Oh man. Sound like a broken record, but Aaron's sounded really bad.
Yeah, all right. We got.
Oh no.
So, Chris, if your gun malfunctioned with these, newfangled Event Horizon Aqua rounds, what would happen if that combusted right localized at you when you had Cypher on you and you were trying to get to the top after she already fell once?
So we had discovered that super cooled helium, is it helium?
Yeah, it's helium.
Super cooled helium acts like an event horizon. So we kind of thought about it, and that's pretty much how the rifle works. It just shoots 0 Kelvin bolts of helium. Well, that obviously has a really robust cooling mechanism that, if say ruptured, could suck.
Could really freeze something.
Yeah, it could be real cold if I didn't have to drop it and leave it behind.
So the first thing is, can Esper take 4 points of body?
Not without going to 0.
Okay, so we know for sure that's happening.
Yes.
So Esprit will go to 0, which means, first of all, what happens to Esprit? Because if you go to 0, you, the player, gets to say what happens to Esprit. We know it's bad. You get removed from the challenge, but we don't. You get to tell me, oh, I die, or I crash, or I go unconscious, or I get thrown into the building and I'm out of the scene.
So my thinking was that on my way up, if the gun started to malfunction and the coolant started to spill, I'd be really worried about that, and I would throw that off, and it would throw off my next jump. So I'd probably hit an alcove that I was going to jump into.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I would kind of like fall unconscious and tumble into the tower while my rifle falls down at the ghost ships.
Yeah. Okay.
Is what I was thinking.
Okay. So we can say that's going to happen. Cypher, what are you going to do when he crashes and loses control, goes unconscious, and his rifle begins to fall? I mean, that's all going to happen like in a blur. But what would you try to do as soon as basically it'd be like if there was a car accident and Esper was the car, what would you do?
I am just completely shocked at how completely incapable my minions are today.
Oh god. I don't feel so bad. No.
Otherwise, I guess at this point I would. Well, I don't know, because now I'm kind of torn. Because Mr. Angel's probably the one that could heal him and fix him up, but I ain't happy with the Angel right now. It's like I'm turning to Mr. Blight. I don't know that Mr. Blight can really help me right now.
I'm pretty far away from you, I'm sure.
So I don't know. I'm in quite a hard place right now.
I do like the idea that so it's like in slow motion right now. Like Esper crashes into the alcove, and then the blunt trauma of it, basically disorients and kind of throws Cypher off. The gun's falling, Esper's kind of crashing. Cypher is in disbelief in slow motion. The little automated AI speaker that you have from the moon base says something like, not incompetence. You just hear like, can I shoot them? Is it just like you were like slowly descending? What do you do? Do you reach out for something? Do you?
So am I like inside the tower now?
You would probably be falling right next to the tower.
I'm falling again?
Yeah, I mean, but this is like at that moment. Like maybe you can still grab something. You're not like away from the tower. You're like falling. Like he crashed into the tower in the alcove and kind of like is on the ledge, and you kind of like falling on near the ledge. So maybe you could grab on if you want to. Maybe you could fall into a lower part. Maybe you could use your laser and blast a hole in the wall and try to fall in. You know. You could yell to Brock.
Yeah,
you could use your hypnotized laser on the ankle.
Don't drop me this time.
Yeah.
Let's see if my last minion is capable. So I'm falling again, but now I'm like, Brock, I need help. Falling again.
What would you like to roll to try to get his attention so that he could help you in time?
Probably the imagined convincing liar.
Let's see it.
The only way I have to convince people.
Rock and roll.
Convince them that we all suck and he doesn't. Not lying though.
And I have a double success currently.
Very nice.
Not a critical, but 2 successes.
Okay. So, Brock, you hear her, and to your maybe to your dismay, I don't know how much you actually care. you do see that Aspirit's basically crashed into this alcove, and she's kind of like sliding just past him, like almost along the wall. She kind of calls out to you. Velios, you can see above you is like just fighting the last of the horde. It looks like sweet sailing if you could all just keep climbing. What do you do, Brock? What do you do?
So she is falling.
Yeah, again, this is slow motion, not like last time where she was like falling like far. Like it's just like she Brock, and then you look and you see her, and she's fallen like 10 feet so far. Yeah.
I don't think anyone else is going to be anywhere near available to catch our glorious leader.
Yeah, I mean, unless Velios like dive bombs.
Oh yeah. I definitely.
She almost falls to the bottom. She's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." She catches her at the wall. You know, like,
just grab something.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna make a blighted tether here, attached to the wall, and we're gonna just Indiana Jones it and swoop on down and grab her.
Excellent.
Yes.
Sounds like Imagine.
Yeah. So let's see.
Blighted tether.
Man, this tower is just a beacon of bad luck.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. You guys are drunk.
What's funny though is it's funny because like I didn't expect you to go up along the outside of it, so it was just like it was equally difficult to climb from the inside. It just actually what's funny is I thought this would be easier because of like because you just had like some shadow creatures that basically like were coming after Esper from coming to the top.
Yeah.
But now we have to deal with the actual drop.
Yeah, but what's funny though too, because like this is actually in a lot of ways so much easier. Because like, yeah, why would you try to climb through like the limited amount of space on the inside of like trying to ascend through all the deletion holes and stuff?
Especially because the three of us are so mobile.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So as soon as you went outside, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
All right, we have a success and a fail.
Okay. Any tags you'd like to use?
There are soft landings.
There was technically the challenge is over.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, you're just trying to like
Gotcha. Mopping it up.
yeah, exactly. Clean up the before you have a mess.
Right.
The repercussions.
Yeah.
Cypher's like, the challenge is over. Why am I still gonna die?
Like, can you not do anything? There's not even anything stopping you.
Yeah. There's not even a challenge anymore. Quit killing me.
I'll go ahead and use my intimate loyalty to the party to get a reroll here.
Okay. How does that help you?
I'm gonna say, let's see.
What does it make your character think about?
It makes me realize that when I see Esprit knocked out, no longer having a weapon, a battle-damaged angel, and our leader nearly falling to her death, I try as hard as I can to make sure that, at least in my power, someone does not die.
And with that, you launch the tether and you swing.
And we get our success. Actually, it's double sevens.
Oh, even better. What happens?
We could make this really silly and have a whole scene of like me swooping and grabbing our laser princess and the king all in one fell swoop, and then using the momentum to launch ourselves up to our angel.
So we're all gathered up.
You might as well aim for the top.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could even aim for the top. We just use that almost like a
Down,
trebuchet.
grab me, grab him, launch.
Okay. It works for me. Now, what about Esprit? Does that leave Esprit just below? Which is okay. It just
No, I was saying as we swung by, I could grab him as well.
You did have a perfect success. So he's still unconscious, but yeah, you basically, I imagine you a lot like Venom right now in the way that like you launch yourself like almost like bungee style with the tethers, but you're able to like elongate other like lines where you grab something, but you're still like then grab something else and get tension and launch yourself up again.
Yeah.
As you're kind of like probably somewhat launching everyone, like you're sort of slingshotting each person as you're moving up.
Yeah, just getting everybody up there.
Just because of what the wording. Did I just get thrown, or,
Oh, God,
or
he's
am I like with you and you're like slingshotting, holding me? It's important for how like the next.
I agree. Brock, what happened?
Well,
what happened specifically in Cypher's case? That's actually all that matters.
Yeah.
Even though I feel it's comical, I'm not one to just throw someone that I've watched fall twice in the opposite direction of gravity once again. Have that happen again.
Okay.
So instead, what happens to her?
I'll definitely make sure that they are both very secure. And I'm okay with them both being secure because I know that Esprit is passed out and cannot freak out.
True.
Yeah.
How did I get here? Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Being secured by the blight.
Okay, so we cut to the top of the tower. At the top of the tower, basically, Esprit's body is, like kind of like thrown up there, and then Velios like swoops down and lands, and then Cypher is like placed as Brock's like tendrils basically grab into four places and swing him in there, and all of you are standing up, and you can see the bright beacon of energy and light, immediately in front of you. I mean, 30 feet ahead of you. This is a very tall, very wide, very large tower, but this is like the penthouse, if you will. It's got like a pavilion, a stone pavilion that has like these big archways that you could walk through and you can see through, but otherwise it's a leveled area. It's flat. mostly just stone floors. But there's that loudness that's coming from that geyser of energy, and the sound of the voice of the demon prince is very booming and carries here.
So the geyser of energy, is there like a control panel? Do I see any like how works this thing?
You do not see a control panel. As far as you know, it's some kind of, like energy source. Your recollection is as if you rode it down here, like as if you rode the waterfall kind of thing. You were within it. You definitely were not like on the outside of it. You were within it. So you do remember that being not dangerous. Well, I mean, it wasn't dangerous at the time.
So I gotta find a way to reverse the waterfall.
You did not come to you did not appear up here though. You were inside the building when you came out.
Okay.
Esprit, you were unconscious, so we'll give you a little bit more time. Let's see. Brock, what are you doing up here?
Seeing as I really have no pull from the energy at all, or have any idea what it is that they're really looking at, I'm going to wait to see what our scientist seems to think of the situation.
Excellent. Velios, this energy is very strong, and it's very attractive to you. It feels divine in nature. Even though you can feel that whatever this blight is all around, this energy geyser, this source, this close to it, feels divine.
I'm going to take this time to try to help my little unconscious buddy over there.
Certainly. Okay.
And I am going to attempt to use my divine touch to heal him.
Okay. You have time, so I'm not. You don't need to roll. That will happen.
Just at least gain his consciousness.
Sure. Cypher, did you want to roll anything to investigate the geyser itself, or is there some other idea that you had in mind?
Not currently. I don't have any strategies that would really help me in this situation yet. So I'm probably just looking around, trying to figure out what's what. Two of my minions have failed me. So I'm not the happiest right now.
Yes, I know. I got a tag for him. Is there a staircase down? I'm guessing.
Of course, yeah. You could find a staircase down. Do you descend?
I mean,
you see a safe spot. You see a safe spot over in the corner. It's got a glowing beacon. It says, you may want to save game.
A couple heal items and wait.
Yeah.
Is this a checkpoint?
Yeah, it's a checkpoint.
If the world stops for a second, you see a little spinny circle.
There's a bunch of ammo over here.
What's this box?
Is this a brand new gun?
How convenient.
Only a brand new gun.
It's not even, it's even better than that. It's an upgrade.
Right?
So it's
yeah.
It's
for me, I need a
laser version because they had it as well.
Boom laser gun.
I asked you guys, shall we descend? Seems like that's the only way to go.
We're not getting anything done standing around in the lamplight up here. So.
Yeah, this isn't where the portal dropped me off anyways, so it must be down below.
Wait.
I just remember falling down stuff.
So you vaguely remember where the portal dropped you?
Vaguely.
Esper, you're coming too.
Okay.
Let's find where that is.
I would like that. I'm ready to go home.
Oh. Mistress, are you okay? I had an issue back there.
Yes. Yes, you did.
You had a small equipment malfunction.
Yes.
But
Did
not
you grab my gun?
The gun fell on the soldiers that were climbing up the side of it,
Oh no.
and you could probably eat them like popsicles on a warm, sunny day.
Oh no.
They don't look thrilled, more chilled.
Did it explode?
I feel like it ruptured.
I may still be able to fix it if I can find it. When I was up here the first time, I heard the song from down below.
Yeah, it's still here. Are you ready to descend? Are you feeling okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Physically,
We're
or
all a bit jacked up. Well, at least me and you.
Okay, so Velios, your dog. Do you think that your dog would show up? Has it been here, or would it kind of come out of nowhere?
It's a little weird because I haven't really thought that hard about him. I don't.
Sure. I kind of like the idea that it could kind of. I feel like Griff could be a part of like your angelic self, and now that it's been unlocked, is like he could probably come, like maybe he comes out of your wings or something. You know, he like can kind of come out of wherever.
Maybe he's like a spectral dog or something.
Yeah, I like that.
Something like that.
Griff appears, seeming to come out of maybe the light. You don't know. We'll say that the light itself sort of illuminates him so that he's visible more to everyone else. The dog barks. He's quite big for a dog. He's probably like 4 feet tall, almost like the size of like a small Great Dane, but he doesn't look like a Great Dane. He just kind of has the size of it. He's probably like a large version of like a it'd be awesome as a collie. No, it's like I was thinking like a large version of what are those like tannish dogs? No, like happier, like golden retriever. Yeah,
Retriever.
yeah.
Okay.
So the dog appears, seeming to come out of thin air and walking from the geyser of light and starts barking, sort of beckoning you to come closer, Velios.
Oh my God, Griff! I forgot about you. It's been so long. I mean, obviously, go towards him.
Yeah. The dog, when you come up to it, when you pet the dog, you remember that the dog can kind of speak to you in your mind. While you can't communicate verbally, you can understand each other through contact. When you touch the dog reminds you of memories long past, that the demon prince that you spoke with, you have these sort of flashbacks that take you to moments when you made the deal. And the deal was possible because the demon prince Desmius has the power of wishes. And what he wishes, he can will into existence, except for that which he wants most. So it's kind of his curse, is that he can have anything he wants except for whatever he wants most. So this thought opens and unlocks all kinds of doors in your head, and it makes a lot of sense of his mutterings that start to sound more and more like the mutterings of someone who's given up all hope. And the words that come out of the mouth of the slumbering prince speak of things that start to come into your vision of what's going on around here, as if you can kind of see like the spirits moving. And you see that these sort of ships fly through the air. And as I'm describing this, everyone else begins seeing these sort of images in the sky that are kind of being illuminated by the geyser of some kind of an armada of ships. All seem to be a demon in nature, like the ships that you saw below. And of them leaving, like flying through space, like some kind of like space sail ships, and that these ships flew off well beyond this sort of galaxy, and that almost like this light at one time, eventually this geyser appeared, and that the prince himself, his mutterings are of the beacon that he hopes will attract home all of his missing companions, the lost fleet. And it all becomes kind of clear, at least to Velios. Everyone else can kind of see this weird, interesting stuff that's kind of like appearing almost in the clouds around you. But for Velios, you see that the connection here is that he just wants to reconnect with those that are gone. Yeah. Now, you have an inherent memory that's even more deep with that, is you were a part of the angels who fought the demon armies that the Lost Fleet was probably a part of. Right. So you have no idea what happened to this. I mean, the Lost Fleet's something that means something to him. To you, it just was more of the demon armada or whatever, you know. Yeah. Enemies. But you do know that below, he wishes that he could see them again for whatever reason. Right. And that torment seems to be ripping this place apart right now. For what reason, we don't know. And that this light geyser seemed to be some kind of a beacon that he hoped would bring them home. So there's the revelations that come from your barking dog that smiles and pants its tongue at you.
So Velios is the only one that got a big gist of that? Or did we all kind of...
The rest of you saw all this stuff just happening kind of in wonderment, not knowing what any of it meant. Now, if any of you have any strategies that you think might help you figure shit out, you can roll that.
I mean, I think I'm going to relay, like, the gist of, like, why I think he's in this slumber. Like, the whole, you know, like, he can make wishes happen, but he just can't get what he really wants, like be with this lost fleet that has left him here for good, and it's causing all this mayhem. I guess it's him that's causing this because of his kind of I don't know.
What if instead of
like his sadness,
him causing it?
I'm not a part of his fleet, though. Why am I here?
That you should ask him.
So with espionage,
yeah,
I got 2 successes.
Okay. What could you figure out with espionage?
So in my head, I was putting together like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
To try to figure out where the chink is, where that linchpin might be.
The big thing for you is that you, with your double success, know that the beacon is something different. The beacon isn't the Blight. You know, how could the Blight be coming from this place that has this beacon of energy that's clearly something different? Some other kind of crazy different power that this close to it feels like nothing else, except for it feels like the power of the Demon Prince, but at the same point, two separate things, you know?
Okay, so it feels like a not complementary necessarily, but adjacent power that is on the same level as the Demon Prince.
Exactly. 2 great powers that are going on here that are obviously not the same.
I don't think the Blight and the Demon Prince are the same. They seem connected, but independent.
Well, that sounds like it's time to wake this Demon Prince up, because we got some questions.
No, seriously though, I think I get, from what I'm at least guessing, Velios' understanding is, what if someone made a wish for this blighted, disgusting wretchedness to be put onto the world, and the only way he's going to be able to even find a way to cure it, since he
is by bringing us here,
wish for what he wants most, is to have what he's missing, this fleet. I think he needs something as powerful to help him push back whatever malignant force has overtaken the world.
We were just a byproduct? Or...
Well-
I mean, I got here for a reason.
Either way, we should hurry. The lost fleet,
Yeah, they're
the
still down
demon fleet is on its way. They come up the tower now.
there. Yes, I say we descend and find this prince.
Conveniently, as you were looking at the staircase, a gaping hole begins to form in the floor adjacent to Cypher that is just growing in size, and it allows you to see a bit into the floor below, which seems to be a sort of like grand ballroom. The more you look at it, the more you can tell that it's more of a throne room with elaborate murals that unfortunately have parts of their matter just gone. And below you can see a whole court of demons. Like obviously this was a place that had, lots of demon nobility that are just all on the floor passed out. And as that hole opens, you can hear a lot more of the slumbering mutterings of the demon prince.
It's a lot of coup de grace. No, I was kidding.
Thud level, thud level.
Cypher's ready to find the demon prince. She's
Yeah.
got questions. And
Okay.
wants to go home.
More like issues.
She might
So
have issues.
we're going to start the challenge here since of time and where it approached and how it happened. So the challenge here is that there is difficulty getting to the prince because of the effects of basically his wishes. So this, the mind of this challenge is probably a 10. The body of this challenge is an 8, and the spirit of it is probably also an 8. No, it's the spirit's a 10. The problems here are that your fears are being used on you. So that's one of the advantages it has. It also has the basically the source of the blight. So I'm going to say the blight, but I mean the source because that has not been discovered yet. Mm-hmm. And then the third advantage it has on you is I think that there's going to be some Chris, help me here. Not discord, or is it discourse? Or your group might have different goals. Would that be discord?
Discordance.
Discordance. Okay. So we're going to put that as the third one.
Or dissonance.
Dissonance. Yeah. Okay. So Cypher, we start with you. You see this hole in the ground, and you hear as if there is a voice calling to you from the geyser. And it's beckoning you to come home, to leave this place, to return to your base and forget this place ever existed. Burn it to the ground. And the voice is in your head of you as if you were talking to yourself to convince yourself, like, I should just go. I should just leave. Right there, I could just walk in the geyser and head out of here. Go ahead and roll. What strategy would help you deal with like a strength of will? I'm leaning towards convincing liar, but I don't know if you have something that you think would help you.
No, I think that's all I got.
All right, let's do it. Imagine convincing liar.
I have 2 successes.
Okay, so you are basically the geyser draws your attention again. And you see below all of this strangeness and this demon prince that talks wishes. And, you look at your friends, and 2 of them just look like sore spots right now to you. They look and failures to you. And the third is the blight. And, of course, this is all exaggerated. This is like in your head exaggerated. But your fears are being held to you here in the way that you were trying, the thing itself is trying to manipulate you. It's trying to make you think there's nothing of value here and you should just leave. So go ahead and re-roll those successes. and let's see if you can continue to have that luck.
Ooh, no, that's a critical fail.
Oh, okay. So,
On zeros?
Tens. Yep.
hey, it's 100. Okay, so
Okay.
with that, I guess we'll kick it to you guys. What's the worst that can happen? Obviously, I know that she could go and press the button. That would be the worst thing that could happen. But she wouldn't get there in one turn, But Aaron, what's the worst thing that could happen to Cypher?
I'm thinking lasers.
Lasers.
I'm thinking.
To who or to what?
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of worthless. She's getting off it. She needs to prep a world-destroying laser so that it can be fired when necessary.
Awesome. Chris, what's the worst thing that happened for Cypher?
That she just gives up on her minions
Yeah.
and perhaps they'll doom laser. Oh.
Okay. And yeah, so Jessica, were you talking earlier about a party wipe? Weren't you the game master for that? Okay.
I kind of would like to bring up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what everybody is listing is the worst thing that could happen for them. That's
Sure.
kind of everything that Cypher is wanting at this moment. So I feel like the worst thing for Cypher would either be determination to go forward to face this defense or find the way out.
Yeah, that's really funny.
The crit fail is I am so drawn to this thing that I think is going to send me home and it not work out that way. But the whole prepping the Doom laser, I don't feel like that is a downside for Cypher.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Reality sets in. She stops being delusional. She's no longer convincing as a liar. It's all real.
Of course it's real. What are you talking about?
That's it.
I really like what he said is that, okay, so yeah, what is the worst thing that can happen to Cypher is probably like what would kind of break Cypher is the way that like Cypher, you just realized that if you help everyone here with the Demon Prince, you'd be the good guy.
Ooh, that's good.
Ooh,
So basically, yeah, ooh, burn. So Cypher, you get to write good guy as a negative tag, which is funny, to the right of any one of your tags, and that'll be blocked for the time being. So you have good guy. You're going to take 4 points to your spirit. Can you do that?
I can.
All right. You are still up. Okay. And yeah, you are just right now, you haven't prepped the laser, but you're basically like walking at the guys who are staring at it and seeing the shells of everyone around you. And your world's spinning as you realize, wait, this whole time, has this really been me trying to be the good guy? All I really want to do is leave, blow up this planet. But now I realize that it's full of demons. And creatures that are not of the divine. If I blow up this planet, I'd be doing everyone a favor. So you're in this sort of moral dilemma as you kind of try to figure out what you want and realize that you may be doing the right thing, which bothers you most of all. Okay, next. So Velios, this hole in the ground opens, right? And then more of the ground begins opening. And you can see that the light hits the next floor. And at the base of it, there is a humanoid figure. And you know that it's Iomedes. And Iomedes is obviously being tapped as the beacon of light that is shining through the sky that you have seen this whole time. Is just it. Iomedes is divine light being tapped as some kind of battery. And do you have any strategies that would help you with obviously just rage? Rage, fanaticism. It's kind of effed up that the Demon Prince would be like, I could take you to that place. Meanwhile,
he's already,
I know exactly where it is. It's right here. I've been using it as my personal battery.
Yeah. I mean, other than my aura, I don't know if that would even actually pertain to any kind of rage, especially in this situation, though.
Sure. Well, I mean, in the way that, there could be like a level of grace or something that, leadership.
Being battleborn is,
just
not,
kind of like,
not letting your rage feed your actions.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd say reason battleborn, yeah, because it'd be like the years of what built you to that.
Yeah. Discipline of the mind, I guess, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Double success.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, this is where you hate me because I would like safer.
I knew this was coming. I'm just glad I got two successes in the first place, so.
Obviously the thing about it is the fear that this could all be an illusion.
Yeah.
The fear that this could be not real is eating you up alive because it's like you've spent probably the equivalent of thousands of years looking for this lost partner, and now to find it under your toes by the person you made a deal with, and then you're like, or is this just my imagination? Yeah. So reroll your successes and see if you can see through the illusion, if there is one.
Let's see. One success.
Okay. Any tags you want to use? Worth mentioning again, of course, for all of you, is you have these belief abilities, and we're running quickly out of time for you to use them.
It's true. Trying to think if I want to just use a tag or if I just want to use the tag and just.
You could use the tag first, unless you roll a crit. You could do the belief afterwards.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to use my drive, my true love, I don't know. Maybe that's a bad thing to try to think because that's obviously what's part of.
For the tag part, it's not a bad thing. I'm not going to hold it against you or something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use her tag, the drive, her relationship with me to, to clear my mind and to make sure this is what is actually happening.
And drum roll.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
nice.
2 successes. All right. So with those successes, you have damaged the challenge. You're convincing yourself, which honestly I could throw it to you. Do you feel like you're outsmarting the challenge, or is it manipulation as in you're convincing yourself that you're doing the right thing?
I think it might be the convincing.
Yeah, I was leaning that way too. Okay, 10 goes to 8. Now we have fears, we have blight, and we have discordance. Would you like to get rid of one of those?
What were they again?
Sorry. Fears, blight, and discordance.
I think I like the fears one.
Yes, bye-bye fears. Okay, the fears are removed. All right.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Our damage from the previous challenge, like, is it still current? Like, do I still have one body? Okay.
Usually no. Usually no, but since we walked right into the end, it's more tension, so I
Yeah,
like
I
it.
just want to make sure.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, you
and
know
how
what?
much did I get back though?
Yeah, actually, what I was gonna say is since we let you heal him, it'd be weird if you couldn't heal yourself any. So
I mean, that was yeah. That
why
was
don't we
kind of
put you both at half round up?
Okay.
okay.
So I don't know if that's like 2, 3, something like that for each of you.
So I'm
4.
5, so I'd be at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds fair. You kind of did like a spot version of it over the course
Yeah.
of like 10 minutes. So yeah. Okay. So we did Cypher and Velios. How about Brock? Brock, what do you want to do towards the challenge? You don't seem to be affected like any of these things that have been happening to everyone else. You seem to have this blight controlled around. I guess the insight that you would have is that the blight seems to be coming out of the shadow of the light. This light geyser that's forcefully shooting into the sky from this point casts a shadow in this room, and out of that shadow breathes this sort of blight. But you feel that it's also connected to the prince. Like you can feel his aura, his essence on it. There's obviously something about his wishes that are kind of have brought it into existence.
Is there any way, because he's in the room below us, correct? Or are we now in?
Up to you. Up to you. Yeah. That's. I assumed that Velios basically was gonna go into the room, but he actually could just be hovering above it. Cypher is still on this upper level. She walked more towards the geyser, and then we haven't got to Esper yet. But yeah, so you can either walk down the staircase, jump in the hole, or stand up here and do something.
I want to attempt to jump down and make my way to the prince if I can.
Sure.
And try to use my own blight control to maybe pierce into either what he is dreaming of or try to see if I can manipulate the dream itself.
Okay. Awesome. I like what you're saying here.
So transfusion, imagine.
Yeah.
Oh. That's critical twos.
Oh, good. Okay. So you reach closer. So basically you can get to him. You have to avoid the light, which obviously makes sense, but it's a straight geyser, so it's not hard to avoid. As you come in, you see like spectral illusions that kind of wander in the room, such like you just saw up around the geyser. So it's not that crazy to you that these sort of phantasms are around. They don't seem to be like oriented towards you or bothering you in particular. And you get closer to the demon prince, who, is a large figure, again, like Mentiak, he's probably like 10 feet tall. He sits in a throne, which is like this sort of black cast iron tall.
It's like a throne of iron and steel.
Yeah. And he sits in it, and he largely wears what's kind of like a kingly robe, that's open. He's got large horns. He's got facial hair that kind of gives him an almost Eastern look of like this sort of long, delicate facial hair. But he is, obviously a specimen of like just a figure, like a formidable figure. Though he's
pictures of his mug.
Yeah, he is just almost lazily sitting in his throne with his head resting on his fist and obviously his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Okay. And you get close to him. How close do you get to use your blight?
Slap him.
I think I probably have to do a small bit of climbing up the throne as to not just walk all over him.
Okay.
So I probably have to be pretty close to him. Like probably up above on the crest of the like the molding to the chair.
Yeah. The blight, how does your blight interact with him? Just for visuals, what does it look like?
Yeah. I want to maybe make maybe something to surround like the upper part of his head, or even maybe like the energies that like being emitted from him.
Yeah.
and I want it to just kind of seep as it can through whatever dream or anything he has going about him. It's almost like just a liquid, just manipulating as it would.
Okay. We know you're going to deal 4 points of damage to the spirit, which is going to half that down to 4. We know that this is going to be able to help with either the blight, the discordance, or providing some other tag. What are your thoughts?
What do I find in probing him for?
Sure. In his mind, he you just want to find what he wants or what he's thinking about, or
yeah, maybe what's the overall fixation?
Sure. So we'll give you this cool vision, right? You kind of like jump into his mind, is, you know, like the tendrils of your blight kind of like almost give him like a head net, like in that sort of cyberpunk-esque way. And as they kind of like almost the fueling mystical energy runs up the tendrils and courses through your body, and your body's kind of like racked with all this energy as you just have this immense power flow through you, and your eyes kind of glow with this like pink hue for a moment as you're seeing the visions that are within his mind. And it's of this longing that's just so melancholy that you can hardly understand, because it's not hundreds of years, it's thousands of years. It's like a millennia of missing your people. And to him, it's like his people, like he misses his culture, everything that he was a part of. And what you find is that this place is more of the lost fleet, in the way that him as the demon prince Desmius and all the demons here were never supposed to be here. They were always supposed to leave to join the Armada to go on, but somehow they were cast away here, and this area of the plane was basically closed off, and it became their own prison, and they were never able to reunite with any of the others again, and any of the others were never able to find them. So the only people that ever come here are the people that basically are brought here by this geyser of sorts, this beacon that attracts. But the whole purpose of the beacon is just the hope that the lost fleet in particular, but that the demons that have been gone for millennia would find them. And you can tell that basically he's finally grown tired of waiting. And that, with his wishes and his slumber, has allowed, it's like his nightmare is destroying this world, because he's just having a bad dream where he's giving up.
I think we give hope as a tag.
That's awesome.
I think we give hope.
Nice.
We give hope.
Hope to a demon.
While I have control, I leave almost an inception of that we are his fleet, that we're here, and we've brought power that can bring him out of this realm.
Okay.
We switch the dream.
So, with that happening, almost immediately, I mean, this is like he's not omniscient, but, you know, I mean, it's something near that, this greatness. The sleeper awakens, and he awakens with just the hope. I mean, it's something that this creature has been dying, craving for forever, you know, like, and even if it's false hope or a thought, it just courses through the creature, you know, energizing and waking it up. So Esprit, what are you doing? As there's a noise, as the cracking of the bones and limbs and the eyes opening of the sleeping prince, just his awakening makes noises like a mountain cracking or avalanches falling.
Boy. Okay. So my initial plan was to stay hidden, get downstairs, and try to find the second source the source of the blight, not of the soporific song. I still want to do that, but I care a great deal more about not being seen.
As Esper would.
You know, because giant demon prince and all that jazz. But yeah, I'm still gonna. We're here. We're at the tower. My task is at hand. Really gonna feed into that dissonance, the discordance, where I'm here for what I need, which is to know and stop Blight.
Okay.
Use espionage
All right.
for that.
And you're trying to find the blight?
The second source, yeah,
Sure, got it.
because we talked about those two sources. One being the demon prince and the sleeping song, and that second one being the source of the blight.
Yeah.
Do we want that? Is that going to be reason? Because it seems pretty well
Sure.
in line with espionage.
Sure,
So 6 and 2 successes.
Okay. So you first of all, you're outsmarting the challenge, right? Because you're finding
Yes, I am.
you're finding where the blight is.
Yep.
But the discordance, the hope. The newfound hope that the demon prince has is veiling a lot of the blight that is in here, and the deleting effects are starting to stall just by the awakening of the sleeper. So it's making it all sort of translucent, giving you difficulty in trying to identify where it's coming from. So re-roll your successes.
Okay, and it's both successes, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
The sleeper has hope. In that hope, you may have difficulty finding the blight.
Right. So I have 1 success and 1 failure, but I am completely devoted to espionage.
Yes.
And sussing out the information.
And how do you do that?
With that, I'm gonna try to.
I will give you a hint. Somewhere near the sort of angel beam of light is the other source.
Right. That's what I was gonna try to latch onto the area that I initially felt that second presence, and I was gonna try to get closer.
You might have picked up on by now that Brock seems to attract it with his own control of the blight.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I want to get closer to where I felt that source.
All right.
And I also want to there cannot be any more secrets. There are no more secrets, and I will suss them out.
There are no more secrets.
Yeah, no more secrets. I will suss them out. Okay. Yep, 2 successes, 6 and 2.
You are outsmarting the challenge, I believe. Okay. Do you want to change the blight, the discordance, or the hope, or would you like to add something new?
So I'm going to I don't see taking anything away and making sense.
Sometimes we can make it make sense.
Yeah. Well, because hope isn't a bad thing. It just happened to screw me a little bit. But that doesn't make it bad, per se. So I'm going to add a tag
Okay.
for New knowledge.
New knowledge. Okay. So, what did you hope to gain out of it? The second source appears to be emanating from the base of the geyser.
Okay. Now, is it the angelic body, or is it beneath?
It's beneath it in the way that it's actually the shadow of it. Whatever this tapping of energy, this beacon, this flare of this angelic force that's being used to shine this light, the shadow it casts is creating the blight.
Man, I am gonna really piss off the Mistress Laser Moon.
Speaking of the Mistress Laser Moon, what would you like to do, Miss?
I think
Me?
it might be a creative use of convincing liar, an imagined convincing liar.
Yes.
I think I almost need to take a moment to remember, like, what my goals are, what I'm here for, what I'm really trying to accomplish. Man, there were some devastating realizations last round. I
Some stuff
gotta
settled in.
refocus, reinvigorate. I need to
Redo that evil.
Redo that evil.
I am at 1 success and 1 fail.
Okay. And are you trying to convince yourself? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Like that
You were like
I'm trying to overdo
rebuilding yourself, yeah.
Like I know what I'm here for.
What does it look like? I mean, are you like marching towards the portal, like, or are you looking at it and then turning back and looking at the others, or?
I'm probably kind of like I was looking at the portal, so I'm probably still like standing there. I'm still standing tall. You can kind of see that like I'm looking at the portal, but I'm not really looking at the portal anymore. It's almost like I'm just kind of unfocused because I'm so just like inside at this moment, like just battling out how I'm feeling at this moment. Gonna put myself back on the right track.
Back on the proverbial track. You know what? This is great. Yeah, you see. So you got 1 success so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to have you re-roll that success because as you're trying to convince yourself, you're seeing all the deletion circles begin to slow. And you're seeing some of the blight in the room, like sort of kind of like move towards the corners of the room. And what you're actually seeing is the hope of the demon prince affecting the problems that you've been having in the tower. But in your case right now, as you're trying to convince yourself of your evil ways, you're seeing things get better the longer you stay here.
Nice.
Well, I still have a success.
Awesome. Okay. And do you have more tags?
I do.
Okay.
Right now, I'm pretty vengeful. I'm pretty angry.
Yes.
So I'm going to channel that vengeance to put myself back on the right track. I'm going to take on the demon lord, the demon prince. Still a fail. But,
You always have.
I want to do with it. I need it. I'm gonna use my relationship with my moon base, that desire to get home.
Yes.
If nothing else works out for me, I at least have to see this through so that I can return where I want to be, and that is success.
Okay. Obviously, it's spirit because you're working on convincing yourself. The challenge is brought down to a 2 spirit. We have a 6 mind and 8 body. We still have these tags: blight, discordance, hope, new knowledge. Would you like to change any tags? You could get rid of one or add another. Sorry, just thinking about like you want to put the evil back in.
I gotta get the evil back in me.
I am evil.
I am evil. Stop laughing.
That evil pet talk.
What were the tags that it has again?
Sure. Blight, discordance, hope, and new knowledge.
Let's remove the discordance.
It makes sense because
Convince
largely
myself.
you were largely the discordance.
Convincing that we have to defeat the demon lord. I am on board. I am on track. I am evil.
Velios. So you've kind of seen everyone deal with the situation in their own ways. I mean, no one's like, I mean, you've seen the strangeness is actually seeing probably Brock, emerge immediately next to the Demon Prince and basically like launches Blight into him. And that's what it looks like, is that he's like kind of using his Blight to like infuse the Demon Prince or something, and the Demon Prince awakens. But whatever effect it had, you see that, these sort of deletion circles are beginning to slow, and the Blight itself in the room is kind of creeping towards the cracks and corners. And the light in here is some of that phantasm mist is starting to illuminate more than it is darkening.
Okay.
But there is the Demon Prince awakening, and I mean, at the same point, I'm sure that there's a lot of emotions your character would have towards that.
Yeah. So I guess question was that only a vision that I saw of her, or is she actually like visible?
She is visible.
Yeah, my understanding is that I see her.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm sitting there kind of poking at her.
What is this?
You see her, but I mean, the hard part right now is, I mean, she looks lifeless. I mean, she doesn't.
Literally, the guys are coming out of her, and the shadow of the geyser, I guess, is emanating from her mostly. Like,
is coming from basically the light that's shining up is making a darkness shadow, and out of that, it's kind of like breeding the Blight.
Yeah. I mean,
out of character, largely. I mean, the big part is the like you had to make a pact to come here. Is that like you? This was a part of sort of a limbo that was cut off from angels. Like, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
And her force, her basic, especially being like the heart of this place, is creating problems.
Yeah.
Got some problems going on here.
I'm just gonna have to get up in his face and be like, I mean, I'm gonna straight up just be like, you need to release her. You need to release Diomedes. This was not what we agreed to.
All right. Roll me the dice and see if you convince him.
I have no idea what I'm actually rolling.
Yeah, what strategy would help you convince the Demon Prince to let her go?
Guess I could try to like be intimidating. Which one would that fall under? Like, would it be Battleborn? Would
It's one way to do it.
Try to be imposing. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So do you imagine Battleborn?
Yeah, probably. You're like, how do you intimidate,
A gigantic demon.
Yeah.
Okay. Double success.
Okay. So you say that, and you take that stance in front of him, and by him I mean it. Just to be fair, the Demon Prince is more of a figure than it is like a gender or something. The prince looks at you, and his eyes just burn with this sort of like pink fire, and acknowledging that you're here. And there's a knowledge in those eyes of like knowing everything about you, and it raises its hand, like toward in your direction, and just kind of like dismissively, and they come now. There is no time to waste on that. The beacon finally shows them the way. And he kind of turns and just dismisses you, like just raised his hand and turns and looks at the light and looks up towards the top of the geyser as he, filled with hope right now, believes that they're making contact. And the last thing he wants to do is to have you remove the beacon.
You don't need no damn hope.
Yeah, but that just re-roll your dice and let's see what happens.
All right. Yeah.
Oh shit!
At least it's not a critical.
Yeah.
I feel good about that at least. This is gonna be hard because I want to use my temporary tag diplomatic.
Yeah.
But trying to be diplomatic with this guy seems almost impossible. So,
well, I mean, we know out of character, right? There's no fleet coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about like
there ain't no fleet.
I literally want to tell him
there ain't no fleet.
Beacon has been shining for so long. You think now it's just helping? Maybe you're mistaken. Like what do you? How do you actually know they're coming? I don't believe this beacon has helped at all. It's been like I don't know how long he's had it running.
Sure.
But I mean,
you could say it's easily been
millennia.
Yeah.
And you think it all of a sudden is just going to help now?
How'd you roll?
Let me.
You got the words, but you got the rolls.
Yeah, let's see, right? Yeah. I'm just re-rolling one of them, right?
Sure, yeah. Oh, I mean, we already re-rolled them, so it's using your tags to try to make the best situation.
So I did get a success.
Okay. Are you happy with the one, or did you have more tags? You could probably use 3, maybe 4 in your case.
I could use 3.
Okay.
Let's see.
Which is fun. You guys are actually grandfathered in right now. Like the belief charts change, so 3 is the top, and after you guys finish, you're the last crew that gets to narrate like a whole session. Like because people don't really use it. It was more meant for epilogues. So now the top bar is narrate a scene. Which is, and it's something like this, you tell me and you get double successes, like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wanting to do earlier when we were talking about the whole deal. Was like,
save
up for 10, dump it all, and then just like talk the whole thing out.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's really fun rolling though. I love the mishap. It's perfect.
Yeah, and it sucks because you lose the chance of the criticals.
So I think I'm just gonna say I'm gonna use my drive for Iomedes.
Yes.
To explain to him that you don't actually need her. God, I don't know how to even word it though. Like
you would just be like, "You don't need her anymore, you bastard."
Obviously not helping. This imagined hope you have, it had nothing to do with her.
I like that. Did you roll?
Nope. Let's see.
Yeah, because I mean, there's visuals, and you could point to her and look at him and be like, "It's not doing anything." You call this hope?
I guess this depends on which one I'm re-rolling here.
It's your choice. You can choose.
Okay. So,
I mean, obviously, you probably wouldn't have re-rolled the successful one if that was the case. But
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say it's the Battleborn thing. I mean,
Yeah, you should. You should. Yeah, take the one that's better for you.
Yeah. So yeah, double success then.
Okay. 2 successes. All right. So that's going to eliminate the challenge. So we're going to kind of epilogue how this ends with the Demon Prince here. So first thing, so this conversation's happening. Cypher's returning. Brock, we didn't get back to you, but Brock, we're probably going to end with you since it's your milestone. Esper, what are you doing? You found the second source of the shadow of the Blight.
So I was gonna reach down to pick up the angel, blink her away from where it is, and come back and blink right back, because I don't really care about her so much as what's beneath her.
Okay, when you reach for her, the energy itself would begin to tear at your skin. So would you choose to continue or would you choose to stop? Okay, sure.
Oh, God.
Just think of it like if you stuck your hand in like a sandstorm, it was just really abrasive and fat, and the harder you put your hands in. I'm not telling you as a game master that like you would lose your hands. I'm telling you that like it would be very painful. It'd be like that sort of ordeal where you come out with the burned hands sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, but I can't guarantee that I can even move her after that.
Certainly.
So I need a little bit more understanding. Can I roll espionage again to try to figure the mechanism out?
No, but you could figure the mechanism out.
Let's do that.
Okay. So since the challenge is defeated, there's no point to like forcefully make things difficult that don't need.
Okay.
So instead of being the guy who sticks his hands in there, pulls her out, and then has the hands that don't work anymore, you're like, there must be a mechanism below.
Yeah.
Now you know that there's the blight that's coming out of the shadow. Is there anything you could tool around with that?
Let's see.
She is the source of the light that's shining out. And unfortunately, the only offset she has would be like a knife through her, you know. There's obviously some kind of magic that's being run through her.
Is she breathing? Is she alive?
She seems right now to be more
as
of a vessel.
Alive as okay.
She seems more suspended in animation than anything. Because she's not even touching the ground. She's like elevated in some position, hasn't moved at all. And unfortunately, because all the light's going, she just looks like a being of light inside of it. You know, you can't really make out the flesh and the, you know.
Right. So there's Shadow and Blight.
Are you just trying to figure out a way to get like turn off the beacon or get her out, or just trying to get underneath it?
I want to know. Okay, so from what I've gathered so far is the blight is spreading from something happening to the mechanism beneath her.
Yes. Okay.
So I want to figure out a way to either counteract that or stop the process.
Sure. When you get to where you believe there must be a mechanism, because that's how this works, right? You realize that she is the mechanism, and that the light that is coming from her is not of this world, and the shadow it casts, it's breeding something that also doesn't belong in this world, which is the blight. So the light that shouldn't be here is creating a sort of deletion of this place, because like the natural laws of this world are no longer in machine, and the world itself is like destroying itself. Yeah. Okay.
So at this point, I would go get Eddie, but he's in the middle of something. So I'm probably gonna have to wait for that.
If you want to get Eddie, you can. I just want to make sure that Eddie kind of has more of the last laugh here. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I
Eddie, is there anything you're doing right now? I know because you were tapping the mind, the hope you were inspiring. You stepped back. I don't want to rob you of cool moments either. That's it. The goal is to give you more of the last laugh, is to make sure you get the cool moments. So
yeah.
No, I mean, if he needs if he needs me, I feel like I'm enamored by the angel, the light, and everything surrounding.
All right.
Okay, so I'm
And-
gonna blink up to him then.
Yes.
Eddie, the other being, like Velios, the blight is spreading from the mechanism underneath her. I need to figure it out. I need to know how to stop it. I need your help.
Well, I guess we're gonna figure it out then.
Okay,
and then
Sorry, go ahead.
if he's okay with it, then I'm just gonna grab him and blink him back over there.
Okay.
If
Awesome.
that's not what he wants to do, though, then my character isn't going to be very pushy about it.
Cypher, what are you doing? Velios is talking to the Demon Prince. Esprit and Edward Brock are by the angel and looking at the base of the energy.
I'd probably go to see the Demon Prince.
You said that. I just imagine you like sauntering over there,
Yeah.
like a Harley Quinn, sort of just like playfully.
Oh.
Like,
All 3'7" of her.
Getting intimidating.
I don't know if it's playful because I think last action that I had, I was pretty angry.
No, for sure, yeah.
She looks very determined.
Yeah. So I mean, do you like march towards him? Do you?
I
Okay.
think I had that way, and he's like.
Do you have anything in your hands?
Larger than me.
Yeah, he's like 10 feet tall and wide. He's a lot like Mentiak in size, you know? Just kind of a larger than life humanoid figure.
Go up to him and demand to know why I was brought to this wretched planet.
Awesome. Okay, so Velios, you were talking to him about how, in a way, you're distracting him because he's not paying attention to the. He turned to the light. I'm sorry. He turned to the light, and then what else do you say to him? Because you're basically telling him that he no longer needs Iomedes. That he was trying to dismiss you, but you were pulling it off. So.
Actually, I asked him what was the reason of bringing me here if he already had her. I want to know that.
Awesome. He looks to you and he twists like his hands, and you feel like your wings are wrapping around you.
Oh, no.
And obviously, Cypher, as you're walking up, you see Velios just kind of like, just kind of floats up a little bit and puffs his chest out, and his wings start wrapping around him. And the prince, maybe we needed more energy.
That figures.
Yeah, that's way super obvious in retrospect.
I had to ask.
Yeah, right.
Velios, you can totally talk and fight it, but you were like kind of just levitating towards the geyser.
Yeah.
Cypher, you come up and you start yelling.
Yes. So I demand to know why I was brought to this forsaken planet. What is this? What is the meaning of this?
He takes a very big, deep breath and looks at you. I meant to attract someone else. I can't help that other people are also attracted as well. You mean nothing to me. Sorry, me laughing,
Go gadget moon laser.
Ma'am, should we charge the laser?
If I mean nothing to you, then surely you could send me home. should be easy for someone of your power and stature. So I have evil look in my eye.
Yeah, yeah. Do you actually want to go home?
Yes, but that would not be the end of my character.
Okay.
Pretty
As I
much
assumed.
to ensure
Dun,
that
dun,
they are
dun.
getting home before
We'd be
they
to
murder.
personally program the laser beam.
Because the reason I mentioned it is because he really can snap his fingers and send you home.
He can do anything other than get his freaking.
So, yes, but I don't want that to be like my character's done, my character's out of the thing. Because my character still has plans for things to do.
Excellent.
But first and foremost, she wants to get. Because I imagine even back home, like I probably have another spaceship. I've got supplies.
Yeah.
I can even come back. But
Yeah.
I need to know that I can get there.
Yeah. So, as the game master, what would you like me to do? Because he really seriously could just be like, it's not what he wants most. And you just asked him, and he's like, I'd rather just get rid of you. Like you return to your moon
If
base.
he literally just wants to poof me
Yeah.
back to my base, Cypher would be quite happy with that.
Okay. Cypher reappears. And before you is like your supercomputer, and you are in your moon base layer, and there are probably other God, did we talk about was it mostly like robots that were there, or did you have like lackeys?
Mostly robots, but I think I have a few lackeys.
Sure. So like lackeys and robots are coming to attend to you. They're surprised and unwittingly didn't expect you because you just poofed there. And then there's radars that are making them all rush to you. Yes, you're kind of like immediately being surrounded and pampered by the people who have not seen you in probably like,
Finally,
a month.
Tell them to ready the moon laser, ready the teleporters, and ready the comm devices. We've got work to do.
Is there like a celebration song that plays like over the intercom?
Not yet. We don't have time for it. There are other things that must be taken care of first. Trust me, we'll celebrate after.
I think right now you need Eye of the Tiger.
Velios, you get closer and closer to the energy source.
Yeah.
And as you do, like you can obviously very much more so visibly see Iomedes, and your sight can pierce through the lights and see that Iomedes here is in some kind of pain, but alive. There's some kind of like soul-wrenching force that's making this possible, but it's not killing her. So it's just kind of your understanding as you were basically like slowly hovering towards her in the geyser.
So this is probably going to be real dumb.
My favorite things to hear. This is probably going to be real dumb.
If I attempt to break free of his hold on me and literally like shoot bullet myself through and try to grab her and take her through it, like basically to get her out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how effective this is going to be. I'm just going to like stop it and just be stuck there too. Like oh shit.
Okay.
I don't know.
So the choices you have here, though, is right. You still got all that belief.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, if at this point you go, hey, Pete, I don't care what you have in mind. What I got in mind is I got this belief, and this is what happens to my character. It happens.
And the moment he says that, he rolls those dice and immediately double fails.
Did he?
Not yet.
That'd be funny. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, think about it. If that's the coolest thing to you and your character in this story right now, that's what this game's all about. And Esprit, you and Brock, you're underneath working the mechanism. What are you finding and what are you trying to do?
Mostly, I would think we're trying to gain information on how it's generating the blight,
Yeah.
why it's generating the blight, if it's a byproduct, if it's something we can correct and stop.
Okay. So if you turn off the beacon, right? If the angels are removed, the blight will stop. But the blight that's here, you don't know what will happen to it.
Okay.
I feel like we flip it.
We flip it.
Okay. So, Velios, first of all, are you
Yeah.
doing the thing or are you doing something else?
I think I'm gonna have to.
Okay. All right. So we kind of have we have some awesome things in lined up. And Brock, it's your turn. We are thwarting the blight. What's your plan?
You know, honestly,
Yeah. I hope so. Don't lie to me now.
I think we depressurize the suit. We let it do what it does best. Destroys. It is powerful.
All right.
We let the blight out, and we let it move, consume, and destroy whatever is necessary to stop this mechanism.
Okay.
I will blink a short distance, safe distance
I was
back.
gonna say, that
I think we all know what I'm doing at this point, and that's getting covering my own ass,
Yeah.
saving that stuff.
What
I don't
does
know,
that look like, Aaron? What does that look like for Brock? Depressurizing the suit, is it a slow thing? Is it something where your character like wants to do it, but the suit doesn't want to do it, but it will do it? Just you have to make it do it. I mean, what does that look like to the rest of us? Like,
You know, take kind of a heroic pose. Everything just kind of gaskets and shifts and hisses. Things start opening and flying open. Parts come off. And then whatever you guys know to be my blight just envelops me from all of these small holes and places. And you get kind of like a Stephen King's The Thing, where it's just like amorphous and gross, and it consumes bits and pieces and works its way into the machine, and it finds where it needs to go.
the demon prince walks towards you when this starts happening, and what are you doing? Why would you do this? This means nothing to you. The blight gives you everything. Take it back. And you realize the prince has no power over this right now. As if he waves his hands walking towards you. And while he can send Cypher back to her moon base in the snap of a finger and take Velios, like the heart of, his enemy, and just have him gently wrap himself up and float over to where he needs to go, he cannot tell the blight. He can only ask you like anyone. I mean, he can punch you in the face. He probably hits pretty hard. It's like, but otherwise he's just walking towards you, and there's no magic he can do to this right now.
I slowly turn to him, questioned in my look, but almost confident that I figured it out. I look at him and wonder if he's grown so tired of being where he is in this world that his one wish is to truly see it disappear. And then I turn back to the mechanism, and as quickly as I can with my manipulation of it and such, try to make this machine no longer exist.
Okay, that happens. Velios, you basically you're crashing into it, right? You're trying to break out of this force.
Yeah.
In a momentary lapse, obviously, of the prince's judgment and will, he's not paying attention to you, and obviously the blight is destroying the mechanisms that are kind of like holding that would hold sway over Iomedes, let alone kind of where you're going. So this is your moment. So what does it look like, and what do you do when you basically charge the geyser?
Basically, I was just thinking like if he loosens his hold, like my wings, like fully expand, and it's just kind of like a gush, just like pushes me so fast, like a bullet towards her. You know what I mean? Like trying to like just grab her and force her out of it with me.
Okay. So you kind of like launch yourself into it, and this light that's blinding, and the force of the wind seems to like throw every part of you up in the air, but you're just pushing. You have to like kind of like forcibly fly downward to try to keep at bay, because it's just blowing your wings and your every ounce of you backward and up, as you're just kind of like reaching for her. And Cypher, what is Cypher's grand plan?
So I think now that I am back home, I think I'm actually going to just go ahead. I think I'm going to go into the zone because I want all of this to go perfect according to my master plan in my master base. So I'm going to use the comm device to reach out to Esprit and ask for kind of a recap on what's happened since they left, in case anything dramatic changed, the exact location of the demon prince, and the exact location of Brock, and if he's willing to help me with something.
Okay.
Esprit, what are you thinking? What do you do?
You're
watching. I mean, you can kind of see the unfolding otherwise of what's going on here.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm gonna
send in coordinates now.
Well, yeah, I don't know where her head is exactly, and she was somewhere between blow the whole planet up and don't blow the whole planet up, and I need to know like where on the spectrum she lies.
Well, I didn't ask for the coordinates of the planet. I asked for the coordinates of the demon prince in particular.
Okay. So while the demon prince is,
help, so I'm not killing him yet, at least.
Well, there's that. But he didn't drop you off a balcony. But she did ask specifically for the demon prince's location, so I'll take that as a check mark and the old win box. And
if there's a small thought in the back of your head of all of your people, in particular your partner.
Right, exactly. So
what it might look like if they all look to the sky to see like the like the firestorm coming down.
Yeah. But since she just wants the locations of one gigantic being,
it's true.
I'll go ahead and I'm gonna blink behind him and give her a readout.
Sure.
On that. And then from there I'll blink up to Brock.
Okay. Velios, you get your hands on Iomedes. And when you get your hands on Iomedes seems to like bend. Iomedes' body, it starts to bend towards you and try to reach for you to kind of grasp back at you. Her life is coming back to her just by your own touch. Cypher, what are you doing with the coordinates?
Well, I am channeling up that moon laser.
Meanwhile, elsewhere.
But I'm being very precise with this. Like, I am just like it'll probably destroy like the ceiling roof that's left right above him. May destroy the floor right under him, but I'm not even destroying the whole building. I mean, I am pinpoint just like zap.
Basically making that poor tree.
Like, he's gone because I'm.
Hey guys, remember that tree?
Yeah, I do.
I remember that tree.
Brock, what are you doing? You have the mechanism being deleted. The blight itself is just transpiring into the room right now. The angels. The beacon of light is beginning to fade as they both seem to be holding each other where the light was coming from. Both of them coming to and having more life in appearance. Because even Velios, when Velios was enveloped in the light, began to look more like this, just illuminated. It was too blinding to really make out most of Velios's figure. Brock, is there anything you want to do? The prince starts, basically starts quickening his pace coming towards you because he doesn't have any other way to retaliate. But at the same point, he feels like you are the threat because you unleashed the blight over here. That cannot go unpunished.
I would most likely be informed by my amphibian friend of the vagueness of a plan. With last effort, tell with what I can the blight to hold the prince in place, no movement, nothing. All you have left in you, that has to happen, and then I will reunite with the angels and Esprit.
Velios, real quick, did you want to do anything with Iomedes? Or are you happy to just have Iomedes again?
I mean, if there's any way of pulling her more, trying to get her out, I mean,
yeah, the light has faded. So the two of you are kind of standing where the geyser was, and the geyser itself is fading away.
Okay.
And Brock is running over towards you. As the sort of blight effects of the deletion is sort of like surrounding the prince, and the prince is like kind of using other effects of like making himself hover and fly, move towards the rest of you. Not thwarted so far, but they do. The blight effects do seem like they're chasing after him. And you probably are blind to most of Cypher's actions right now because you were so consumed and involved otherwise. Yeah.
I don't even know where she went. I'm like, where the hell did she go?
Esprit, it seems like everything's lined up. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's...
All right. Cypher, that laser goes, boom, what happens?
I want that demon lord to not exist. He is gone. But at the same time, I did ask if Brock was willing to help me, and I believe I got the okay.
Yes.
I did hear that you unleashed the blight. Do you still have blight around you? Something is still part of you?
No.
You're blightless?
I am.
Blightless.
No help.
Never mind.
You're no good to me, Blightless.
It's still willing to take commands, but I'm holding the demon in place for you as best as I can.
Yes, and the laser eviscerates demon.
Yeah, I imagine it's like
now
it kind of
need a blight sample.
Well, so in Rewind, I was going to let the laser thwart the blight by being on the demon.
That's not all the blight.
It's the blight that I have.
So there's no more blight?
I was hoping there not to be more.
There's blight on the castle, right?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just going to use my teleporter to not teleport him up anymore because he's useless. And almost like tractor beam, grab a sample of the blight and bring it up to my moon base. And it'll immediately go into a like sample canister for
Oh, will it?
some
will it?
You know, this is exactly what happened when they
start
created
analyzing
Venom.
light and reprogramming the laser.
Okay.
Post demon lord destruction.
Yeah, I imagine that the laser kind of consumes the demon prince, and he's unwittingly. I mean, why would he know about some laser on the moon base that would blast him? So it would probably like shower over him, and then you would see like the heated frame of him as it would just kind of like like be walking through it, dealing with the laser force, but then being stuck by the blight as it's actually just deleting the ground where he's at. And the laser, like where the laser should continue into the floor and the wall, the blight itself is kind of just taking it, and you don't know so much if the demon prince was like burned alive or really sort of whatever was left of him or whatever was him was kind of shoved into this blight of whatever it does with whatever it deletes.
Whatever.
As long as the demon lord is gone.
Yeah, there's a strangeness of watching this mixed effect on both and not quite knowing what happened. The only thing you know for sure is he ain't here anymore. So
Success number 1.
all of you can kind of stare and see like this process that doesn't, it takes time. It's like a minute where he can't move. There's no voice coming from it, just showered by this sheer beam of energy coming from like, you know, what might as well be the sun from here, you know, that cuts through the clouds that cover all of the sky. And actually with the beacon of light on too, it's like there was a second beacon for a moment. All the people,
we all look up and it's like, oh no, the beacon's back.
Yeah. All the people on the lower lands are like, the beacon, it's gone. And then it's like, oh no, it's back again.
Actually, it's just back.
Okay.
Go the other way.
So that kind of encapsulates the scene here and our sort of final battle here. We should basically epilogue from here. Yeah.
Okay, then because I still have one last thing that I kind of want to do in this. Otherwise, I can go to the 1 instead of just the zone.
Yeah.
But
what you want to do?
Well, what I was doing with my Blight sample, it's being analyzed. I am reprogramming my laser to specify it so that it's a special laser beam that only destroys Blight and nothing else.
So evil.
I'm a blast this motherfucking planet.
That's great. That's great. So I guess that in a way you can each take that into your effect. So what happens to Brock? Where does he go from here?
You know, I never really.
What are you gonna do once you free up the Blight?
I don't know about where he came from. He's just always something I've always wanted to have.
And worth even thinking too that like you're, you know, if you didn't come from here, maybe you and other people begin to just disappear and return to where you came from. Or if you want to stay here.
Like a removal of the prince's magic, and it's like, you know, mid-sentence, like, wow, that was really.
Like we just kind of slowly, like transparent. Your words start fading.
Oh no! It's instantaneous. It's like jarring as hell.
Man, this was weird. I really expected.
Just back to your plane.
And where is that place? Where does he show up? And is he happy? I'll give you a minute to think about that. So, Jessica, I'm sure you have some thoughts, but Velios, obviously, we need to know what happens to Velios. Where do Velios and Iomedes go from here?
I guess I need to find a way to get the heck out of here.
Sure.
Off this planet.
Or even if the demon prince is removed from this place, do you return to where you came from?
Yeah, I mean, I would think probably have some sort of planar jumping at least to where I came from kind of thing. And I want to say I'd probably just, I mean, I think I want to make sure that Esprit's people are better before I leave, though. It just seems like something I'd do. Just, you know, I mean, leaving them, like, knowing that his people have been affected so badly by the blight and stuff, even though it's gone. But other than that, yeah, just going back to whence I came.
Okay. Madam Moonlaser. Obviously, we have some cool effects that are kind of cascading over all of the demon plane here, the demon limbo, that as your lasers are basically like directly finding the blight where it is and eradicating it. Is there anything you want to add to that, or do you watch it? Are you pleased by what happens, or are you like, well, I just wanted to burn the place down. At least I burned something. like, like,
I'm a little torn because a part of me still wanted to blow that place up,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a bit like a good guy right now. So I'm but at least eradicating something.
Feeling a little much like the good guy.
You're like a good person.
I think Chris had some connection issues and is back now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we lost
So
power
he-
for a
he
second
was
there.
Oh.
doing things.
Yeah, the power flickered,
Laser
so my.
blasted the whole planet.
I'm sorry, what?
I laser blasted the whole planet.
The whole.
Yeah, with
The whole
my
thing?
with my newly configured laser that only
Okay.
destroys light and nothing
She
else.
deployed it.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. She's so evil. That was
Yeah.
super evil. I don't know.
So,
It really depends on what happens when you separate Blight from Kappa. That's really where I
The
care.
setup for that was fantastic.
so basically, what you missed is that Brock was talking as like the demon prince left, and then abruptly he was gone because he wasn't from this place, and with the demon prince no longer here to keep him here, he vanished.
Oh, so
And
Brock wasn't from the planet either. Okay.
I guess not. And then Velios happily had Iomedes and wanted to make sure that your Kappa people were okay before they left this place. And obviously, Safer has been using her sample of the Blight to specify the ramifications of what the lasers are targeting, and they are eradicating the Blight from the demon limbo place that you dwell in, which obviously seems like it should culminate at the Kappa place with the angels who want to come and make sure that your partner's okay. So what does that look like?
Well, so the awkward thing is, we don't let anybody else
Yes.
in.
Well,
So
I
they
mean, obviously, I would ask you,
yeah.
but I mean, if
I-
that's the case, I just want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I get really nervous and worried and very uncomfortable when you mentioned coming back. And I thank you for your help and helping me discover the source of the Blight and getting rid of its infection. But we don't need your help. Thank you.
I mean, I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Hopefully, your people are okay.
Yes, thank you. We'll be great now. Now that the Blight is no longer.
Eradicated.
Yes.
Velios, do you and Iomedes choose to leave then?
Yes.
Okay. I can kind of imagine the two of you almost like spiral flying through the sky, and almost because you are not of this place, but you are of a different power, that, you know, realize the two of your powers, when you're ready to leave, you can just choose to leave.
Yeah. It's like almost just like a planar jumping ability, almost like.
And somewhere again, Iomedes and Velios are reunited.
Time to go battle some more demons.
Yes. Last but not least, Esprit. So you return to your partner. What does that look like?
Yes.
Cypher's
So-
probably got a little video recording that she can see the feed, but
Oh, not for my armor.
and not from your armor, of course
Not for
not.
my armor. So it's really neat because the whole village, to put it in quotes, because it's a massive sprawling land, but it's kind of starts on the beach, and it's mostly like abalone shell, and everything is, if Cypher is watching, because of course she is, right? The whole thing is, it kind of obscures itself.
Yeah.
And like the buildings that you can make out don't look like buildings; they just look like obscure rock formations, and then they just kind of blend into the ocean. And most of the bulk of the race is underwater there, heavily obscured, lots of shell and the like. But assuming the laser actually did its work, even at these crazy depths, hey, deep water messes with everything. Okay.
I don't think you understand. I am in the zone.
And she's like, you still questioning me, minion?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying these deep waters. All right.
Seriously, none of those minions were capable. I'm so glad to be back on home.
Robots are so much more.
So she teleported a piece of the Blight. Being so connected with it, I was actually teleported back to the moon base with her. That's why I so abruptly left. It was a strange continuum issue with the teleporter.
Oh no, I've got the Blight here on the moon.
But you eradicated the Blight.
You walk out of a closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Confused, but out of a closet.
Yeah. What am I doing on this? What is this place?
As you lay waste to our incompetence and our stupidity and uselessness, I'm here.
Glad to be home.
At least it's the only.
What are you doing
It's
here?
the only competent minion.
And I suppose at least you didn't drop me. How'd you get here?
That's a question you need to answer because I don't even have a clue where I'm from.
That seems like a pretty fitting end right there.
Yeah.
Esper, did you see your partner? Is she healed?
Yes. Yeah. There was a medical wing where they had all the blighted Kappa there, and they were coming back around. They were rehydrating their bodies because the blight was finally removed due to some really weird laser physics. Like super weird laser physics.
Laser washes over you.
Yeah. Considering they were kept submerged the whole time anyway. Just bonkers laser physics is what I'm saying. Like Pink Floyd. Just like Pink Floyd all the way through.
I imagine you reach her and she reaches for you and she asks, "What happened? Am I feeling better?"
The blight's is gone from this plane. We were able to get it removed
And she just
from the
looks
whole
at
of the plane.
And she just looks at you in disbelief. Just stunned by your journey, stunned by your adventure, stunned by the results that she could be healed.
Yeah. Most of the journey itself is kept completely to myself because that's way too much interaction with outsiders.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to add? Otherwise, we're going to knock out some gratitude and we're all Dunsville.
No,
All right.
I'm good.
Think about your gratitude. It doesn't even have to just be today. It really could be over the course of the story that we had. We have freed the demon capital. For better or worse. We freed it of the Blight. We freed it of the demon prince. But who will take its place?
Hey, the cap people are fine. They're never going to find us.
You know what? I'm still, a demon lord of the lower regions.
It's true. The demon lords will fight for the title, won't they?
Should I go back every once in a while?
Technically, you're the demon lord since you kind of smote him.
That is a pretty good claim to fame, yeah. Well, I did destroy him, didn't I?
My problems with Esper. Maybe I'll see if he wants to take over.
Oh no.
Demon lord?
No.
We stay in the water till ever.
Do you know anyone that would make a good demon lord?
That sounds like a fun conversation.
I mean, I assume the hounds take it.
Yes.
Well, now that I know where it's at, I'm just gonna bring the angelic army and wipe the place out. Other than you guys, so the planet's yours, buddy.
Dude, yeah, I'll just have Velios. Hey, Velios, you want to be the demon lord?
It's gonna be the angel lord.
Yeah, right.
How
about the angel lord?
You can change the title. I don't care. I don't want to be. I don't plan on ever going back to this planet. So I have full control and rights. I did one good deed for you guys. Done.
So evil.
I really hope that like Velios has it recorded like the annuals like forever in eternity. That there's like a page that has like Cypher's face on it and what she did.
Right.
You see
Always
this?
remembered as the savior.
You
Yeah.
belong here.
The
Did that.
illustrator of the Blight.
No,
That's some
like-
repentance.
The Blight back?
Over the course of the whole game.
We could reforge
Yeah.
into a Blight suit. I've got a little sandwich. You could be back to being, if you liked the power, obviously.
She's like, here, you can have it back.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
Do
remember
you
anything.
feel like something missing? Like
I think the thing I was missing was, I don't know.
This is totally end of credit scene right here, right?
Yeah.
I could totally give you that seat back. Well, I don't know. I was missing something. What were you missing? I don't know.
Who
It's
wants
been
some?
so long since I've been without it. It felt like a really weird abusive relationship. Ultimately, it was bad
codependent.
for me.
well, since you didn't drop me, you can remain on the moon base until you figure out what you would like.
What about I like you? You're pretty alright, Cyber.
So like, ultimately, though, I loved how the game just bent itself to Cypher's greatness,
Yes.
just over and over and over
Cypher's
again.
greatness was a banner story for this. It was
Yeah.
like an unknown focal point of this game.
It was fantastic.
How could you free the demon capital without Cypher's, rise to power?
Yeah.
Like even the thing that was bad, like my spirit was crushed. I got the good guy tag, but I was able to work that into this epic ending. I was
I
just
just
hoping,
love-
I was like, I need to be able to do it first so that I can have this good thing. Because I was like, oh man, they're gonna like eradicate or do something that's gonna cause the eradication. I was like, no, I want that to be me.
It's got to be me.
I love how the demon prince just was like, yeah, she doesn't matter. Flick, she's gone. And then she's like, now you're dead.
Yeah.
You think I don't matter?
Yeah. You sent me to the wrong place, buddy.
Knock me into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, you may be big and bad, and you may be super magic, but I got a giant death laser.
His
But
own
you were
demise.
prepared to wish to not affect you.
You guys just made me think of her like dancing up in her moon base while she watched. Like,
Right?
Victory dance.
Aaron, what about you? What do you think was an awesome thing that happened?
I think a really great thing this session was again on like her delusion, just thinking of, so you have a horrible villain, like so bad at being a villain it almost works out. So many bad things. She smites a tree, absolutely works out for her. Horde surrounds the entire village. You have a laser. Yeah, you have a laser. Like, oh yeah, I have a
Of
laser.
course I have a laser.
And
What
then,
evil villain doesn't have a laser?
and then right at the end, just like thinking of how bad it could be if it was just like 1,000,000 to 1 that she ever stops realizing that her world isn't magic and butterflies, and then it could just come down because of the fears of magic from like an off the wall kind of thing. And that's the thing that puts a villain to their end, is the reality of their insignificance and the they actually had a role. But like their role was everything.
Yeah.
Like it was the focal point, but only because everything falls into place.
Like a competent Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did have, when I got the good guy tag, I had it go across from the disillusion, so I did kind of take the like
Yeah, you're-
longer disillusioned to my grandeur. I might be a good guy. Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah.
It cracked me up when I step away for a little bit and I come back.
Yeah, that was all. You get perfect timing. Yeah.
So of course my most trusted minion saves me. I get the double success. I'm convinced that I am in good hands now. And I get dropped again. It's just like, all of my minions are betrayed.
I put Cypher's Scorn over Graceful because I didn't feel so graceful after that.
Well, thank you, gang. This was awesome. See you, YouTubers. Until next time.
Thanks.